Zyori Podcast. This is podcast number 80. Slightly different setup here. We're in the BTS house in the living room where the magic has happened in times past.
With two homeless people?
With two homeless people. I've got Merlini to my left and LDZ to my right. It's really cold in here despite it being very hot outside.
Yeah. It's really hot outside. It was like 106, which is 41.444444 Celsius. For those of you who don't use real measurements.
Hey, look, it's Cody. Yeah, I know. So this is the final podcast of Zyori at the BTS house. We don't really have a plan or a script. I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys before we leave.
Sounds like most of the shows that you host.
Yeah, pretty much. Except I don't usually cry, and that could happen. If Ben tells a few too many tear jerkers, then who knows?
Well, during the interlude, there may be some imbibing, I heard.
That's
and then
true.
Who knows what's going to happen.
That's true. It could get crazy. It could be like Summit 3 after party levels. Doors are coming off the hinges. Shirts are coming off.
Yeah.
It's getting wild. So how's it going? I guess we'll start recently. How was TI, Merlini?
It was fun. It
Yeah.
was about what I expected, I guess, except the games were a lot better than last year. So overall, it was.
So you had high expectations, and it met your high expectations.
Yes.
Okay.
You had to work like every day, though.
Yeah, I didn't have
15
time.
hours
I
a
didn't have
day.
time to sit inside the arena.
You actually had one of the busiest schedules because you casted a lot of the group stage stuff too, right?
Well,
I
hosted.
was-
You were hosting it, so you had all day for the group stages, and then you had all day every day for the main event. Damn, that's a lot of Merlini. So many, there were 3 of them.
I'll give you a chuckle.
What who came up with that 3 Merlini?
I have no
thing,
idea.
by the
Twitch
way?
chat.
Oh, that was a Twitch chat.
I mean,
What was
if
your
they didn't come up with it, it was certainly quickly.
What was
became
your
noticed.
reaction? Was your first reaction fucking racist Twitch chat, saying we're all Asian
already
and
knew
shit?
that. You act like racist Twitch chat is a surprise.
Well, I don't know, but did you just did you Winter and Chober
can't-
just have an Asian moment
you
where you're
can't
just
go
like,
against it, man.
let's go with it? 3 Merlinis.
You can't go against it. What am I going to say? Stop calling me 3 Merlini.
I mean,
His name is Chobra.
You can only embrace the meme, man. That's one thing I've learned over my illustrious career. A creator of many a meme.
embrace
Some
it.
unintended.
It's pretty true. I think you can only embrace it.
Yeah.
It was funny. It
I
was
mean,
some harmless casual
The only
racism.
problem is it's like Valve's show, so if I start talking about all Asians looking the same, that's probably not going to go over too well.
That's
you
true.
can't really acknowledge it during the show.
Did you have any R slips? Did you have any crubs
No.
come out? No.
No.
Sometimes his trolling gets the best of him.
Like what?
Well, you know how he calls Sam's Club Sam's Crub? Like, you guys want to go to Sam's Crub?
They're gonna
Yeah.
Occasionally, he'll do an accidental,
no.
but he's pretty
They're
controlled.
going to first ban Reshrak and Reno.
Rush Rack.
That never happened.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. How about you, LD? Do you have any Sam's Club slips?
I don't really frequent Sam's Club. K-pop's gotten me off of it. It's
God.
it's bad for the environment. They don't take care of people.
It's true. They don't. I remember
Walmart is killing.
When I moved in, one of the first
America.
meals we cooked, he was complaining about Walmart, and you said, hey, Brian, that pan you're using was bought at Walmart. And he was just like, fuck!
Because we already gone shopping and bought a bunch of like the cutlery and pots and
It
stuff.
was one of those just perfect moments.
He needs to grow his own food outside.
Because then he's it's a dilemma, right? Is he gonna throw out the food that he's already started cooking because that's wasteful,
Yeah.
and just bad in general, or is he gonna support Sam Walton?
He could feed the homeless people.
Dude, there are so many starving people out there that could have eaten those scraps. God. Last night we had dinner, and I had like one little piece of chicken left. I threw it away, and then instantly Roland said, "Is there any chicken left?" I was like, "Man, why did I throw anything away?" I should have just.
He's a
anytime
vacuum
you have
cleaner.
leftovers, like, just Roland. This is you, man.
So I don't know if people heard about it, but when he was in Seattle, there's this burger place at the hotel, and they have a new burger called the ODB, the Old Dirty Bastard,
Off-diet burger.
The
off-diet burger. I call it the Old Dirty Bastard because it's disgusting. It is.
We're talking about you, Roland. That's right.
It is 3. What is it, like quarter-pound beef patties? I believe 3 slices of
I
cheese.
thought it was a full pound.
Okay, so it's a full pound of ground beef.
Roland, what was
broken into
this
3
burger?
patties.
Come do your fucking. Who's that guy on Home Improvement that never shows his face? Just yell off camera. How big was the burger?
Okay, I saw the pictures. It was as big as his head. So it was like this
he's
tall.
doing this right now. He's like, it was
like
like
this
this.
tall. Yeah.
This is the motion he's making.
It was
Holy
grilled
shit.
cheese sandwiches as the patties.
No,
it's
it's
the
the bun. So it's a grilled cheese sandwich on the top, a grilled cheese sandwich on the bottom, 3 patties, which I guess like a pound of ground beef, at least before it's cooked.
Something like
3 additional slices of cheese. Then you've got bacon, you've got an egg on there, some veggies. Got to have your tomato, your lettuce, your onion, and he finished it.
And a small Diet Coke.
And he didn't die.
And he didn't.
Oh, and they have a small Diet Coke that comes because this is America.
And you get it for free if you finish it. But how much does it cost if you don't finish it? Was it $20? $36.
Oh, so he got it for free.
So you get a free burger if you can manage to eat all of it. Is there some kind of rule about puking? Like if you eat it and then throw up within like 2 minutes, does that still count?
Probably. Usually,
you have to hold it down.
I've been to other places with food challenges. Usually, as long as you don't throw up while you're doing it.
So you have to like swallow it, smile for a second, and then if you puke, you're all good. You're gravy. It's getting morbid, but I mean, I feel like if I ate that much in one sitting, I think if I just kept going, I would eventually throw up. Like I don't think I could eat that much. That's an absurd amount of food.
Yeah, I mean, Roland has many food. He says he's never met anyone who can eat as much as him.
That is a bold claim.
It's like
but
20, 23, 24.
I don't think I've ever met anybody that I've seen consistently eat as much as Roland does.
I think he's right. I would say so.
Yeah.
He once ate 3 Chick-fil-A meals.
Full meals in one day.
No, it was
in one meal.
It was one meal.
He ate 3 full meals in one meal,
including the drinks.
All the drinks and all the fries.
and the 3 large fries as well.
Oh my god.
Since then, he generally sticks to a moderate 2 full Chick-fil-A
He's strikingly skinny for how much he eats.
Yeah, he should be like 400 pounds.
And what's funny is didn't he say when he got here, he was like he's trying to add more weight, but I told him, well, dude, you just got to eat more butter, just eat a lot of fat. He's like, no, it needs to be organic. I want it to be a natural, tried and true effort of eating as much as I can to put on weight. And
he gets on a bulk when he comes to America because apparently the food in England's not very good. So
at least he doesn't think so.
It doesn't meet his culinary standards.
Do you guys remember when Roland first showed up? What was your first Roland memory there, Merlini? What was the first time you... I remember the first time I saw him. Well, the first thing I said to him was, nice hair, dude. He came in my room, I was playing a pub.
He had a rat tail.
Yeah.
Like, grown 22-year-old adult rat tail.
Pretty long, too. It was down, like, mid-back-ish.
I would say he came the closest out of anyone I've ever met to it not being completely retarded. Like, just idiotic.
I remember people telling me at TI4... That is the only person I've ever met that could pull off a haircut like that. Because it was also like he shaves the sides too. So it's like kind of down to the side here, then it's kind of like long and wavy on top, and then it was like long in the back.
My first memory of Roland is him always doing this to the cats.
Sophie!
He was producing a show one time.
He bends over and does this all the time.
And Brian, K-pop Toast's cat is like very feisty, and she's like really, she loves her attention. So she jumps on his lap in the middle of a show, and he's supposed to be like switching the camera shots, working the audio. I think the stream went down when she jumped on his lap at one point. But he just sits there like he doesn't know what to do. It's like, Roland, just pick up the fucking cat, put it on the floor, and continue. So we actually have one of the casters is to take off their headset, run over there, grab the cat off of his lap,
from the cat,
put it outside of the studio, and of course there's no gate. So the cat just like walks back in like 5 minutes later. And this was a recurring theme with Roland.
It's really hard to train cats to respect a curtain. Because once they realize they can just walk through it, they give no fucks. They just go straight in. Yeah, she bit him like once, and after that he was just like, I'm not fucking around with that anymore. So
we started caging the animal,
waving at her,
just lock it up in Brian's room.
Yeah,
that got kind of nasty.
It's crazy. What was the story of Roland though? Because we've since Roland, we've gotten a lot of messages. At least I have personally. Like, I want to be the next intern at BTS. It sounds awesome. I don't know what he does or what he gets paid, but I'm in. It's like, well, we don't really have. This is like a one of a kind, very unique. Like, we're not really in the market for interns.
Yeah, it was really weird because apparently he had contributed to the Kickstarter, which we did not know. So this guy from Malaysia, Roland, just starts emailing us. I'm like, oh, that's a cool name. I love the Dark Tower series. Roland Dick-Chen. So I'm like immediately like, I like this guy. He's interesting. Okay. It's like, oh, I want to come intern for BTS. I'm like, okay, well, tell us more about what you would do, how you want to be involved, what you think you can offer. So he tried to apply for a visa through like a third-party organization, and they have all these weird like specific rules for like home-based businesses. And at the time, we were based out of a house that we were renting with Purge. This was before Ben was living with us, so we had Purge there. We also had Lawrence, who was Blitz's friend. So a bunch of people weren't involved with BTS. So we only had like one room in the house. It wasn't really like a BTS house per se.
Right.
So we had to set up floor plans. You have to have a separate bathroom that is not connected to the rest of the house, and like I said, its own exit, which does not, and then a garage doesn't count. So they're like all these weird rules, and I'm like, dude, this is just not going to work. So he's like, fuck it, I'll get a visa some other way. I'm like, yeah, sure you will. But he actually did. He just basically showed up, and that was the story of Roland joining BTS, and we had no idea what to expect.
I remember asking gods, like, so who is this guy? I remember, like, yeah, Roland's going to be there in, like, 2 days. It's like, is he, like, your friend? Or is like,
He
Not
seems
exactly.
nice. We had one Skype call with him
Yeah.
for like 2 hours, so it's not like we had never spoken to him.
I think his exact words were, "He seems pretty normal," and I was like, "Okay."
That's saying a lot.
How did I seem when you first met me? You know, like, he seems pretty normal. You just we're committed for 6 months, okay?
And I pick him up. Well, first of all, like I think his phone died when he was at the airport, so I had a lot of trouble finding him there. And then when I finally pick him up, I just look at him like, you are not what I expected at all. he's got like the super like bearded Asian look, and then he's got this rat tail thing coming down the back, and you know he has like a really long kind of baggy, like, you know, almost like what you'd see like, you know, like the old like thug attire. You know,
yeah, he does wear baggy clothes.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is not what I expected.
He had like a basketball jersey on, like over a t-shirt, like real baggy with big baggy jeans. I remember that really well. I thought the same thing. It's like, damn.
He's very zen though. I would say Roland's very chill.
He's one of the most unique people I've ever met.
Slow to anger. Actually, I haven't really seen him get angry ever. Seen him get annoyed at people once in a while.
Yeah, I've seen him make a
like,
shifty look behind someone's back once. That's the closest I've ever seen him come to yelling at somebody. He just does that like, I just can't anymore, and then he walks away.
Yeah, I mean Ben's very chill, but then like I would say me, you, Brian, and Gods are all like. We can be very high-strung and argumentative, especially if we disagree on something. So
yeah,
Roland was always like, "Just take it down a notch."
Yeah, he's very
Give me food.
very calming. Give me food, calm down, and don't show me any blood. That's basically Roland's guide to life.
Blood thing.
The blood is like. My mom's like that too. What's weird is my mom is a veterinarian, so she does surgery on animals. But if she sees human blood, she faints. Like, Mom, how do you know? How do you see the difference between human and animal blood?
Oh, that's a great Roland story as well. I think we've told it before, but I don't know if everyone.
We have. That was the one where real Merlini police was doing dishes. She cut her finger. There was like a knife like under the soap or whatever, and she was kind of bleeding a bit. And LD jumped up and was, "Oh, let me get you a Band-Aid." And Roland saw it and just goes, "Oh no, I need a timeout." And he just runs into the pantry and closes the door.
Light is off. It's dark in the pantry, mind you.
And there's, of course, it's a pantry. There's nowhere to sit. It's just a room full of food, and he's just in there just. And, you know, we're talking, we're all laughing, and everyone's giggling, you know, and then you just hear, like, is it safe to come out now? Like, yeah, there's no more blood, you're good. Like,
everyone kind of forgot, like, they didn't really notice, and it was actually like, wait, where's Roland? Because, like, I think someone had seen him go in, but they weren't really thinking about it. It's like, oh, you know, RMP cut herself pretty bad, let's make sure it's taken care of. Yeah. Like, where's Roland? Oh, he's in the pantry.
That was pretty early on. That one was up. The other
that was
story,
like his first week here, I think.
Yeah, that was really early on. That one was up there with the Dave's Insanity sauce.
Oh, that was so funny.
Because Roland also really likes spicy food. It's a characteristic common amongst many Malaysians, as I've seen firsthand. They love spicy food. Roland pushes it to the limit. Merlini's got this secret Insanity spiciest bullshit ever sauce. What is it? Just super
it's like designed to
spicy
make you like uncomfortable.
It's designed to make you cry like a baby.
Bad. I use it when I cook sometimes, not to troll people.
Not that bad. So, but when you use it,
they sell
it's
it
like
at Target. They used to sell it at Target.
But you count it by the drops. Like, you're making a big bowl of soup, you put in a couple of drops, and that's like good.
Even like one drop.
Yeah,
for a lot of people.
So Roland, we're sort of telling this, and he like doesn't believe us, you know. And he's just like, okay. He takes a chicken wing and just goes right over the top of it and just bites into it. I've never seen someone react so much to spicy food in my life. He's like, his glasses were steaming up. He's crying. He's like dripping sweat, and he's just like, oh, it's so good.
You know what? Actually, it reminds me of when Charlie came to visit us. So Charlie's allergic to cats, but he fucking loves cats as well. So it's like the worst possible situation for a cat lover. So we're hanging out, and he just, as the night goes on, he keeps on like rubbing the cats on his face because they're like tiny little kittens, you know.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah, you're right. They were really
they're very docile at that point. They don't really try to get away, and he just starts like. You can just see like the allergic reaction. Like his face is getting all red. Like he's having a little trouble talking properly. Like his throat's like clearly welling up a bit, and he just keeps like, I can't stop.
I just love the kitties. Well, that was the night when we decided we introduced him to drinking Yahtzee, and we gave him Claritin as well. And nobody did the mental math on you're not supposed to drink when you take decongestants. So he got really sick. Remember, we were just like, who's throwing up all night? You're just like, oh, that was poor Charlie. Allergies plus he didn't even drink that much.
It was a lot of caffeinated beverages.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, a lot of
probably Red Bull because I'm pretty sure Charlie would drink that.
The Red Bull.
Yeah, seems like a Red Bull guy.
He does. You know, he does seem like a Red Bull guy. Something about that face, just screaming Red Bulls, man. Good old Roland.
So people are questioning Ben's attire here.
It's cold.
It's like cold. It's like the You know, I feel like you see it a lot in the CIS countries, like the tracksuit, and it's like they'll have like the designer tracksuits, and they're kind of considered stylish.
See, I've been watching The Sopranos a lot recently. This feels normal to me now because they either go like full suit with the little cocktail thing, or they go like tracksuit, 100% casual, and that's basically what Ben does. It's either full sweats or full suit.
I usually don't have the hoodie though.
That's true. That's true.
He's gone the extra mile today for the show. It's your sending off party.
Thanks, Ben.
I was considering putting on jeans, but
Yeah.
that was.
So Roland's leaving. He came back. He's kind of done. Now he's not even the intern anymore. It's sort of a joke. Now he's basically just like BTS friend.
He's like the mascot now, except he won't come on camera. So shittiest mascot ever.
Yeah, he's the invisible mascot that he's sort of hired help. Just to fly around and do stuff. That's cool.
He owns a house in Malaysia. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do with it. I've been trying to convince him we should do like a summit SEA, but that he says the house isn't big enough. So then I was like, well, maybe talk to Winter, to Mushi, see if they could use a training house.
It's just so freaking hot there. It's unbelievable. When I traveled to Malaysia, I didn't.
Hotter than here. Well, it's wetter.
It's way more humid. So you just sweat nonstop. I ran out of clothes because I didn't plan on like. Every day, if you go back, let's say you go out in the morning, you're out and about, you do stuff, you come back like 1 or 2, you always feel like, I could take a shower and put on some fresh clothes right now. That would feel really good. You could very easily go through 3 sets of completely clean clothes per day.
Didn't you used to be in Florida?
At the end. I've never lived in Florida, but my ex lived in Florida, so I've been there a lot.
It's somewhat similar. It's a little bit wetter there.
It's similar-ish. I guess the big difference is, like, in America, you spend a lot of time inside. Out there, they have a lot of, like, outdoor eateries and stuff. So you just spend a lot more time outside. A lot of places aren't air-conditioned either because it's, expensive and shit. So...
Well, and they're just kind of used to it as well. It's very much a cultural thing in America.
America's weird about air conditioning. I know that's one of Parker's big gripes when he comes to America is all the over-air conditioning.
Yeah,
but
I always make sure to turn it down a few degrees just to piss him off whenever he comes out.
Yeah. I mean, it is crazy, though.
No, it's funny. It's interesting.
And just blow it up.
People actually get sick when they come here. I know Vlad and Ina, his wife, have complained about that. Like the AC at the hotel, like they can't even like turn it off properly.
They can't make it high enough for it to be at their level. Yeah. Well, that is probably the biggest limitation I think we found in the house. Was like you can always like add more circuits if you don't have enough power, but commercial spaces have air conditioning that works so much differently than residential spaces. And there's just no easy way to fix it. You can't just start like rerouting the air conditioning without ripping the whole house apart.
Well, we've got 2 like giant like residential units out back.
Yeah.
Then there's one for the first floor. Then there's one for the second and the third floor.
Problem is the first floor is pretty fucking big. So if you want the studio to be cool while everything's chugging at full steam, you sit in this room and you're just like, oh my god, it is a blizzard in here.
And, then like the players go to TI and Kirina's fucking freezing the whole time. But, at that point it's like, what are you going to do? Tell Valve to turn up the heat? You can't just change the temperature.
I went to Taiwan once and I got really sick because of air conditioning.
Really?
It was like some really bumpkin-ass cabin next to the beach. It was so rural, dude. Like, there were chicken runs.
Bumpkin-ass cabin.
Dude, there were, like, chickens and stuff, and it was as rural as...
What's, like, the most, like, southern shit you've ever done, would you say?
The most southern
I haven't
shit?
tipped any cows.
Yeah.
I haven't...
That's pretty southern.
Well, I went home one summer from college, and then we used to have, like, this small cage to hold our 2 rabbits, and then they're long gone, but... When I came back, there was a chicken there. It was just one chicken. I was like, "What's going on?"
And the rabbits were gone.
Well, the rabbits were gone like maybe like 10 years ago. So the cage was just there for like 10 years.
And chicken was like, "This looks
pretty
nice."
And then I was like, "What?" And I asked my mom and dad. She's like, "Oh yeah, we just eat its egg every week." It just lays egg and we eat it.
It just like randomly showed up. It's like, yeah,
they didn't really tell me how they got
your local,
it.
your friendly chicken
donation.
And then I came back like 2 months later, and they're like, "We gave it to our grandpa," and then I know what that means.
I think
my grandpa's just one of those guys that eats everything.
I know what that.
I heard a saying once, and I don't know if it's a little bit racist, but I heard in China they eat everything with 4 legs but the table and anything that flies but the airplane. Is that offensive?
I mean...
And is it true?
Did I tell you my dad's story with the chopsticks?
I don't think so, but now I want to hear it.
Okay, so my dad's pretty unassuming. He's just like, pretty chill, just like goes with whatever.
Yeah, normal Asian guy.
Yeah, my mom just does everything and tells him to do everything. And whenever I ask him to do stuff, he's like, "Oh, go ask him." He's just like, whatever, doesn't care about anything. Anyways, so I'm in the kitchen one day and I'm doing the dishes, and then my dad's just chilling on the kitchen table behind me. And he's actually like half disabled too. His like legs all messed up, so he just kind of like lounges around and does whatever most of the time. So he's like, "Hey Ben," he's like, "Hey Ben, look over here," and he never says anything like this. I'm telling you, like he's just.
You go like a year without him saying.
He like never.
He's just not a jokester. He's like,
no, I mean he just doesn't like show anything. Or,
yeah.
like, I don't know. He just like does his own thing. He's in his own little world all the time. He like buys stuff on eBay.
Runs in the family.
Yeah. My girlfriend says I'm a lot like him. Anyways.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Hey Ben, turn around, look over here." And I was like, "What's going on here?" So I turn around, and he's like has this bowl of rice. He has chopsticks in his hands, and there's a fly flying around. And I just like watched him for a second, and then he grabs the fly with the chopsticks, first try,
Just like,
and then he eats it, and then he says, protein," without laughing at all. Okay, and then I'm just looking. I'm like, "What just happened?" And I'm just like looking around. Like my brother's not there, my mom's not there. And I'm just like, no one's gonna believe me if I say that. And I just walk away. I just didn't even know what to say. And then later, I told my brother that he did this, and then my brother said that he did the same thing to my brother.
that's his move.
I was like, what?
You know, Hoppin always like, "What's your move?" You know, with women, and that's your dad's move.
dude, that is a
How-
move.
I was just like,
If he ever gets divorced, you know, that's how he'll.
I don't know. I don't know which part is more badass: the catching the fly with chopsticks, or the like not making a grotesque face while you ingest it. Like that's
Definitely catching a fly with chopsticks on the first
but
try.
could you eat a fly and just be like, protein, and totally deadpan without like grimacing at all? I'd be like,
He's obviously practiced
Protein.
this, though. That's why I'm saying it's
I
his
mean,
move. You know, it's
how many
like,
flies does your dad eat?
I have no idea.
because
He's not
there's
very-
no
he's
way
not
that was
very
his
particular.
first time. He's definitely done it before.
I don't think it's his first time.
How do you train to catch flies with chopsticks? I want to. How do you even practice?
I'm actually terrible with chopsticks. I'm a bad
with
user.
chapsticks.
Chopsticks. I'm really bad with them.
Oh yeah. Are you worse than me? Have you seen me use chopsticks?
I'm not like I'm Asian bad.
Okay.
I'm not white people bad.
Oh, okay. I see. I understand.
Whenever we go out to get Korean barbecue, like they don't trust us to grill our own food.
Yeah.
Like I was doing just fine yesterday. You know, nothing was burnt. We were flipping it over. We were eating it.
LD always gets a little offended when they come over and just be like, "Sir, let me just
Well,
thank you, sir."
Because they're like, "What do you want next?" And then like they see us like in the middle of like pulling, like picking up the plate. You know, Korean barbecue, like you cook your own food for those who haven't done it before.
Yeah.
So like you got the plate of meat. You know, it's ready to go on the grill, and we're like getting ready to move it, and she like takes it out of my hands, and then just starts thinking to myself like, "Do you have like a magic power to like organize the meat on the grill better than me? Is there something?"
They're just trying to service you.
No.
They want your Korean
But
barbecue.
it's only
to
the
be
white
best
people they
can
do
be.
it to.
Yeah, they never do it. to
They're
us.
racist.
Well, I mean, if you sit down and start speaking Korean, then I think that helps a little bit. You know, but
I'm not-
Maybe I should just get like
I know you're not
slap their
Korean.
hand away when they try.
no.
Well, the lady was being awfully creepy to you. She was just like standing over there watching you grill
Yeah.
for like.
She just
and
she
you're
just,
like,
stood there. I'm like,
you're like, "What's going on?"
Can I help you,
Sir? Sir,
We
do you
already
know
had
what
our-
to do with that bulgogi?
We already had our extra meat like ready. Like we had like 3 more servings already prepared. So
Well, she also wasn't in the normal like waitress's clothes.
she was like the manager. Or
Yeah, I
something.
was like, she could potentially just
Oh.
be a random person. I was like, the chances of it are really low, but she could be.
That was like when we were in Seattle for this TI and we went clothes shopping, and it was like you, me, Waga, Lynn, the Chinese analyst, and Helen came as well, and Shivers. That was the whole crew, right? So we're looking at shirts, and I was just kind of tagging along. I needed to buy a tie for myself, and I was just kind of spectating. And while we were waiting for something, I was just kind of lingering around outside. I'm wearing basketball shorts, literally this shirt, and my lanyard that I'm a TI badge. And some lady comes up and says, "Excuse me, young man, do you work here?" And I just kind of paused like,
Does this attire suggest that I work here?
this is Nordstrom. Like, everyone that works here is dressed up out the ass.
It
No,
must be
I
the
don't work
badge.
here.
The badge.
Maybe it was the lanyard. They just see a lanyard. Do you have to wear a lanyard?
Well,
to
you
work
normally
at
have like the
Nordstrom?
clip-on thing on your shirt or something.
Oh, yeah, I guess you have like credentials or whatever. But it was just funny where I was just like, yeah, Nordstrom's really stepping up. Basketball shorts and flip-flops. That's the new attire.
It's the recession, man.
Let
you
me
know?
sell you some suits while
They can't
my
afford to
friends-
dress their employees properly.
They have to appeal to the casual customer.
You know, that was actually my first time shopping at a Nordstrom's. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back. Those price tags were pretty scary. That tie I bought was overpriced, but it's a nice tie. But what's the most you've ever spent on a tie?
$30.
All right, well, I spent $50 on this tie. So how about you?
I don't know.
50's overpriced,
my
right?
brother usually gives me his old.
I'm sure I've had ties bought for me as like gifts and stuff that are more expensive.
Do you hear what he said? It's like my brother usually just gives me his old ones.
So you just take the leftovers?
Leftover ties.
Sometimes they're pretty new though.
I mean, I'm sure they're nice. I mean, how messed up do ties really get?
I don't know.
And I feel like every tie I've ever
think
had.
he had like so many too. Like he couldn't possibly have worn them that often.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Ties are very
You know,
fussy.
I'm weird about ties. I hated them for a long time, and then I wore one at TI, and I think I just suck at tying them. That's my it kept getting crooked, and I hate it when it shows
who's
that
really
second button.
fucked up about them is Blitz. I'm like, dude, I'll tie it for you. He's like, no, I need to get Andrew to do it. Like, there's this guy from Valve, Andrew, that he's friends with. I feel like he's very satisfied with the way that he does the tie. I'm like, dude, a lot of people could tie a fucking tie.
Every time after I tie them, I just like undo it a little bit,
And then like pull it over your head.
Same with my t-shirts. I like or my button downs. I just
Wait, you don't know how to tie a tie either.
I do, but it takes way too long.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do it after like 10 tries.
Well, the thing with Blitz was that he refused to let me tie it on myself and then give it to him. It had to be initially tied while he was wearing it, which, like, for most people, like, it's just not natural to, like, tie a tie when you're looking at it the other way. So.
Yeah, that's like everyone says to me. Dakota tied mine that day, and he said I have to tie it on
the way
myself.
you do it is, like, for 99% of the times, like, you just take their tie, you put it around your neck, you tie it, then you give it back.
Yeah, that's the method I'm familiar
So
with.
I did it. So someone did that for Will, and he just started fucking with it, and like he completely ruined it. Like, how do you screw this up? It's literally just loosen it, dude. It's not
We
hard.
should buy him a clip-on.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Do you think anybody else could get away with a bow tie except Winter? Like, do you think anybody else on that panel? Obviously, Red Eye wore one. Everybody knows Red Eye can pull off a bow tie. Winter pulled it off. Is that just like a one in like?
I think Winter pulls it off better than
Can anyone else do it?
I think he pulls it off better than Red Eye, actually.
Yeah, I don't really know why either. I don't know what it is about Winter's face where I just go bow tie guy. It works.
He's like it's like his demeanor as well. It's like he's like the professorial type, you know.
That's true.
You got the glasses, the bow tie, like.
Dude, 10 years from now, Winter could be giving lectures on professional Dota 2 at some university, rocking that little bow tie. I could see it. It's like some Indiana Jones level shit.
Yeah.
You know? Ben's giving me that face like, can we move on? I'm tired of talking about clothing. So what do you want to talk about, Ben? What's your most fond BTS memory over the past 2 years? When did myself or LD...
Drinking Yahtzee, probably?
Drinking Yahtzee. Okay.
Like,
Well...
just partying.
Yeah, partying. Great. Okay. Any other memories that come to mind that are a little more interesting?
I mean, I've always liked the summits.
Jesus Christ.
Those are pretty plain answers.
Yeah. I really enjoyed doing the summit, guys. That was...
That's why I said drinking Yahtzee.
How about the tub interview?
Yeah, dude.
That interview was okay. It was really hot because it was like daytime. It was summer. It's like 2 dudes.
See, you had the power to just put some cold water in the tub. You had the tools.
Yeah, but then you're taking a cold bath.
Then he's also extending the interview. Like, he wants to get out of there as quickly as possible.
The first tub interview we did was the one with Fogged where he sat on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Then we did a second
I
one with
asked him to
Hani.
get in. He didn't.
Okay, yeah, and then the second one with Hani where he was in the tub with you.
Yeah. Honey's also massive, so
He is
we
massive.
had really.
You know,
So you had space issues. Yeah.
multiple people asked me at this TI, and did anybody somewhere else? People have asked me like, how did they both get in the tub? And I was like, what do you mean? They just sat down.
Our legs were like. This.
Yeah, they're like, was it? Somebody actually asked me if it was a trick tub, if there was like a hidden compartment where you could
your
sit.
legs like go down.
And I was like, no, dude, it's just a regular tub.
Yeah.
They just
It's
had to
a
touch
little
legs for
small.
5 minutes. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Everyone's wearing a bathing suit. Like, they're just legs. And the guy was like, oh, that's weird.
Slightly smaller than a normal size tub, though.
It's a smaller tub,
Yeah.
but you know, I mean, it's just like as soon as the camera's off, you just get right out. It's not a very.
I still think the thing with your parents was like the funniest part.
That
Of it. Not
really
even the
is.
actual interview, but
yeah.
like
the fact.
you will not do another tub.
Not even the fact that your parents like said something about it, but even that they saw it in the first place. That was part of what I was. How did they even? They must watch a fair bit of your stuff to have tracked down because that was a pretty obscure. It was just like we ran it once at the summit, and then it was on YouTube, and that's
They
it.
probably saw it on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
That's my guess.
creeping around on YouTube.
My mom recently found out like the Chinese YouTube, and she's all about it.
Oh, the
really?
Yoku?
Yeah, something like that.
Yuku? I don't know. how
Every
you
time I
say
go
it.
home, she's watching some like Asian show.
That's pretty good. What other tub interviews did we do? And then we did the Bruno. Was it
Bruno
Sunsfan?
Sunsfan, yeah.
And then the Hotbit Envy.
Hotbit Envy.
Is that it? Is that all the tub interviews?
Yeah, we were supposed to do one at the end of the summit too with Envy, but then they.
I'm surprised
they
Envy
lost.
did it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the story about him at DAC with the microphone?
What
No.
was
Remember,
that
like
story?
Dan and Ryan were like trying to mic him up. And
Oh,
they were.
that was so funny. So yeah, so at DAC it was myself, the two camera guys, Dan and Ryan, that were at the Summit 2 and the Summit 3, and then we had Hopbid there to do most of the interviews. So we got one with Envy, and we're in some little room, the hotel. There's all these lights. They're setting stuff up. So Ryan, or Steve Aoki, he has a very unique look about him. He's one of those guys that if you don't know him, you might think he looks a little intimidating, but once you start talking to him, you realize he's just like a totally normal, super nice guy.
Yeah, he's like actually extremely nice.
Yeah, and he's also super smart. He's like really knowledgeable about cameras and lighting and all this kind of stuff. So he just like kind of walks up to Envy that never really met before and is just like, okay, so this is the lav. We're just gonna put it under your shirt. And he kind of goes to reach for the one of Envy's shirt. And Envy's just like, no, that is not okay. And he's just like swats him away. The look on Ryan's face is just like,
see, this is what I should do with the Korean barbecue. I just need to swat him away.
He just literally made that like, whoa, all right, nobody, just like making that face. It's like, yeah, guys, nobody's touching him under where his shirt covers. Just FYI. Hey, Dan, that's a big no-no. It's just so funny, like.
So how'd you get it on? He did it?
Oh, Envy did it. Yeah, he was happy to lob himself.
And then like 6 months later, he's doing the tub interview.
Yeah, and 6 months later,
Yeah, it didn't really make sense.
it's no big.
Actually, it was like 3 months later. But yeah.
Was it? Yeah. So it's we all grow, we all mature, and I was really surprised that he did it. I was shocked.
Well, I think he really got kind of forced into it by
Did
the
he?
community.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say by
That makes
Hopbid.
more
It's like, did Hopbid
By
peer
Hopbid.
pressure him?
We voted you in. Now do our bidding.
I wonder if Gigabyte watched it, because he pulls out the motherboard box at the end.
Oh, I showed it to the person from Gigabyte who came.
Did
She's cracking up.
Really? She thought it was funny? It was just like, yeah, by the way, shout out to Gigabyte. The hard drive survived in the tub. And then he just puts it down, and then he makes his face like, we don't have any Gigabyte
and it's
hard
funny 'cause
drives.
like the
It's a
person the
motherboard
person
box.
who like came to check out the event and who we worked with she's kind of like a more proper, like slightly older lady from
Yeah.
Taiwan.
Very
so,
professional.
yeah, so like she had never seen anything like this. Just like starting with the fact that there's a tournament in a house, and then like you got the tub interview going on, so, like some of the shenanigans with like the Wade's World video that we did.
Yeah.
But she was pretty in with it.
That's
you know?
good.
She even sat down on the couch at one point, was playing Gang Beasts, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I missed that part. The first tub interview we did, no, not the first one, the second one, the one with Hani. The first one where it was two dudes in a tub. When we rolled it, that was on the finals day of the Summit 1.
Oh, the stream got shut down.
No,
Right?
No, that was the
Summit 2.
That was the Summit 2 one with Bruno and Sunsmith. The one with Hani and Ben rolled on the finals day when I was at the viewing party. So there were other people at the bar when that happened.
Not Dota people.
Not Dota people. We had a Dota section. There were mostly Dota people there, but there were some regular schmoes that were just like, hey, what's going on all this faggot shit? Hey, what's like? They were just like completely. And I didn't know how to explain. The guys that owned the bar were just like, what is this? Why is
You told us video games,
Yeah,
and
and
now
I was
we're
just
getting
like-
two shirtless dudes
I was
in
like,
a
you gotta
obviously
understand, like,
small tub.
both these guys are like international superstars in this game. It's really funny if you know who
And
they
it's
are.
not gay, I swear.
Yeah, it's gonna be over soon. Just let's just laugh about it. And they kind of laughed about it, but in that like,
I hope this is over.
I hope this ends immediately before a riot breaks out. That was one of the more awkward like BTS moments that I had to personally have, like explaining how the tub interview fits into the package we sold them on to rent out their bar. That was a good one.
Packed house though.
It was, yeah. The Summit 1, man. That was a fun. That whole thing was just fun. I had do you ever have those moments where, like, you kind of feel the adrenaline? Well, we've all had those moments where you feel the adrenaline kick in, and you go from that, like, all right, I'm kind of ready to. It's fucking on. This is real. I had that when the first car of people showed up to do signatures, and like Puppy opened the door and stood up, and you see half his head, and I heard one of the people outside smoking yell, "Holy fuck, I think Puppy's here!" And I was just like, it's fucking real. All right, let's go. And I was just, all right, guys, single file, we're going in. I'm like boxing people out of the way, getting them up into the VIP area. I felt really fucking cool for like 2 minutes. I felt like I really had a purpose in life. I was keeping the
prior to
fans
that,
from-
you were really questioning yourself.
Yeah, well, and then 2 minutes later, RTK's like, okay, I go drink with friend now. And he just fucks off and he's just walking around. People are just high-fiving him. He's just walking down the bar, like, high-fiving
He just
people.
went there for like the whole day. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much, especially at like the Summit 1. Like all the players on DK and Vici aside from him were like, we don't really want to go. DK was in the finals. They were focused on the event.
Mm-hmm.
Vici, like, The other 4 were like, oh, we're just gonna chill. Like we're not going.
Yeah.
RTK's like, fuck yeah, I'll go to the bar.
I'm in.
He was there all day. Like probably didn't understand, half of what people were saying. To him,
He just
didn't care.
It was mobbed. I got a little nervous. I was like, guys, we don't have eyes on RTK. I hope he's all right. And I saw him. He was like, all right, I gotta go to the bathroom. I was like, all right, it's in the back. And I'm like, dude, do you want me to go with you? He's like, no, it's okay. So he's just walking through. People were literally like handing him a drink. He just grabs it, finishes it, and then hands it back. I'm like, dude, you are way braver than I am. Holy shit, that is all right. More power to you. And then the real kicker is, I eventually found him outside, just yelling at people in Chinese, and like that's sort of like Chinese is a very like rambunctious. They get loud because you speak Mandarin. I'm sure you've yelled at somebody in Mandarin before.
His general interaction is not like a lot of the Chinese players.
That's true.
They're very animated.
Yeah,
like, more so than the Western players in general.
Oh yeah. So I go outside. I'm just like, everything okay? We're all good. And he's just like, yeah, these are my friends. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave with my new friends. I was like, are you sure? And
do you want me to give you my phone just in case?
His English isn't the best, so I'm just. And he said new friends. I'm like, are these like people you literally just met, or like friends that you kind of know? And then I was just like, well, you're a fucking adult, dude. I'm kind of responsible for you, but if you really trust these people, I mean, I'm kind of here to help you. So whatever, go for it. Have fun.
Whatever works for you.
See you later. And
the Dota crowd's not the most threatening crowd.
Obviously, well, it's weird with the.
You say that. I mean, that was the other thing. Was like we had all kinds of crazy contingency plans for for getting swatted, for like random strangers showing up. Like, what if the neighbors randomly call the police or something? Like, oh my goodness. And then we had the random fans start showing up. There was one guy who tried to sneak in who I have a letter to Dendi, and he actually didn't. He didn't have a letter, and so I think it was RMP. Was the one who greeted him at the door and was like, who are you? What are you here for? He's like, oh, I have a letter I want to give to Dendi. And she's like, oh, can I see it? He didn't have it. Of course, he was lying.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, you can scrawl it on a piece of paper and I'll make sure he gets it. He just wouldn't go away.
And I think he literally just wrote down his Steam ID. It wasn't even a message.
Yeah, Dendi's just going to add you.
Yeah, dude, that sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
We're all just going to add each other on Steam and we'll be best friends.
The craziest one, though, was actually, I think, the Summit 2. And that was where... Was it the Summit 2? Maybe it was the Summit 1. But one of them... Oh no, the guy wanted to meet Burning. I think it was Summit 1.
It was Summit 1 when he showed up 2 days earlier.
He showed up 2 days before the event. Burning wasn't even in the States at this point. He's still in China. First of all, how did you find our address? Secondly, who the fuck are you?
He's still in China, yeah. That was
Third, even if Burning was here, no, you cannot see him. You can leave. This is a private property. So... I tell him to leave. He goes back to his car. He doesn't leave. He starts taking pictures of the house. He puts them up on the S-Scammer forum. So, half of China knows where we live, but, the Western...
Well, what was weird about it, too, is it was, so far ahead of the event that we had a lot of people coming over. The Red Bull guy was going to come drop off a shipment. We had more gear. There was a lot of in and out. So, Brian, or K-Pop Toast, just answers the door and is like, hey, what's up? Who are you with? And the guy is like, Burning? And Brian's just like, wait, what? What are you talking... What? I'm in the zone. What do you need? And then he realizes, oh shit, this is a fan. Oh, then it's just I'm just picturing Brian's head going from all right, what can I help you with? B2B Brian to we got an emergency here, guys. We got a random
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we've got a creeper. How do our address get out there? That was a little scary.
Yeah.
And then we had the random pizza. Remember that? We were just did anyone order one medium pepperoni pizza?
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
It was either Summit 1 or Summit 2. And it was so weird. It was literally one pizza.
It's when we order... So when we run the event, we've got 70 to 100 people at the house at peak hours.
Yeah.
So when we order food, it's not one pizza. It's
it's a
50 pizzas or 30 pizzas or something. So it's one medium and it's a medium pizza.
And then no one would fess up to it. We were walking around just guys, no one's mad. No one's upset. We just want you to have your pizza that you ordered.
Everyone's like...
And then we just chalked it up to
Wasn't me.
Yeah, somebody just sent us a pizza. And then that happened to the Good Studio as well when they were doing the EU Hub. I guess their address is a little more public. And they had pizzas delivered that were the note was have fun with TI or something. But then they had some weird people stand in the woods with masks on and stare them down. It's kind of creepy.
That is pretty
I
creepy.
don't like that shit, man.
Does anyone like that shit?
I don't know. That stuff
bold statement, Andrew.
Gives me the willies.
I don't like creepy dudes in masks staring at me. You're probably the only one.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty true. Overall, we've been pretty lucky with creepy fan stuff. For the most part, people have been pretty reserved. Even the ones that showed up, they weren't that out of control. I mean, I was concerned of somebody coming and then literally refusing to leave, just sitting down on the lawn, just be no, you can't make me leave. forcing you to call the cops and deal with it. That was like, because that's just a pain in the ass. That's just not fun to deal with.
Yeah, that was.
And there's nothing you can't like actually like touch them really, because then they'll just like file an assault charge or something if you try to throw them off your property. That sucks.
Get off my lawn.
You know, some guy at TI4 came up to me and said, "Dude, we live in your neighborhood." And
oh yeah.
I still don't know if that was true or not. I got this kind of vibe, like it was genuine. I was just like, well, why wouldn't you just come over and say hi? Like, if you live in the neighborhood and you're just a reasonable, normal person, we'd probably like hang out with you, or at least like let you come in once and give you the tour. Like,
yeah, it wasn't. From like the way you described it, wasn't clear if like they actually lived in the neighborhood. They're kind of trying to fish and see if like you'll accidentally reveal where we live.
And that was, I couldn't think of any questions to ask him that weren't like kind of telling of where we were. If he knew the general area, but didn't know like which gate.
What's his address?
I should have asked it. That's a great question.
What's wrong with you?
I panicked. I was just like, is this guy like a creeper? Do I need to just run away? You know, is he for real? Should I try to be friends with him? So I didn't know what to do. I panicked.
Also be like, oh man, I wish you were at the pool last weekend, and we have no pool.
Oh yeah, that's good. You throw a reverse question, like one that doesn't exist.
Or what's our gate code?
What's the gate code? That would have been perfect. What's the gate code? Only somebody that lives in the neighborhood would know the
You need to up your like random stranger interrogation skills.
Guys, this was TI4. Okay, I was not prepared for the barrage of people to come up to me with random questions like, "Hey, I live in your neighborhood, but you've never seen me before." I was not mentally prepared for that one.
Now you know.
Now I know. I felt a lot more prepared this TI. I had a lot more fun. Like TI4, I was actually overwhelmed with the fandom thing. You know, I was doing press coverage last year, so I was just not prepared to come out of the press area and pretty much instantly have a line of people form, be like, "Oh my god, that's Zyori. I know that guy. Oh shit!" Like, it's really weird at first.
Well, and you had the dreads.
Yeah, so
everybody like I think you were like one of like maybe 3 people at the entire event that have dreads.
Yeah, so that's true. That was the ironic thing. I wasn't even invited to the event. Dakota was like the hired caster, but nobody knew what he looked like because he wasn't on camera. He hadn't been on camera very much. And I was just this like mob of hair that everybody recognized. So it's like the real caster's walking by and nobody notices him, and I'm just like,
just hood up, just keep on moving.
Like, all right, keep them coming. I mean, it's really fun, but it's really draining. I don't know. I was just much more like I felt like I knew what I was getting into for this TI. So I'm like,
I try to watch some games to so I could talk about what's going on, and then oftentimes I would have to sign stuff, and then it'd be like, oh, game's ending, and then I would go back and Red Eye's like, oh yeah, so this play over here, Ben, why don't you walk us through it? And I was just like, I have no idea what happened.
Thank you for explaining it, so I have a chance to see what.
I did not watch any of the game because I was signing stuff for 30 minutes, and then
you're trapped there because like the analysts are like visible on the floor this year. Last year they were like in the middle of the arena. So you're almost like more protected from the fans in a way, but like people just walk by. You're like an animal in a cage. You can't really walk away, and of course you want to be nice to the fans and sign stuff. But then it's kind of hard to watch.
I actually had a lot of fun watching games where like they have a lot of TVs. They're just out and about. So if you're having a beer or like getting food while the game's going on, you can see what's going on.
That's really nice.
And I would often just walk around, and then when my line would disperse or people were watching games, I would just go stand there, and then people would kind of randomly come up and chit chat while I'm watching the game or ask me about heroes, and they just walk away. And I found it to be that perfect medium of I actually get to watch the game, and you still kind of interact with fans. It's like a middle ground, That was kind of fun. And I like to cheer. I channel my inner Roland now when I go to events. That's the other thing about Roland. He knows how to make noise. He doesn't care who's winning, what sport it is. If anyone has potential to maybe score a point, he's fucking like, anything.
We got the whole Sweet 11 going when it was I think it was like CDEC's second match on the main event. Like it was just nice.
Everyone, I talked to Roland at the end of day 5, the second to last day, and he was just like, it was a good day. I'm like, Roland, you need to take some chamomile and calm down.
I was not worried at all about damaging my voice like during the casting.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten I used to have a lot of problems with it, but I think I've gotten a bit better at controlling it. But like when the games were going on, I was watching, and especially if you're in the suite, so like you could just go as ham as you want.
Especially when Nahaz is there too, cheering for EG when you're cheering for CDEC.
He's the most disgusting over the top fanboy. Like everyone has their team allegiances, but like they would like D-Ward, and he'd just like, yeah, America, USA! So I'm like, okay, I gotta counterbalance this guy. I'm not even really rooting for a team here.
I like Nahaz's energy though. He has a really good I love it when a team makes a play that he disagrees with, or if it's like what should have been like a pretty easy skill shot gets whiffed, And he's just like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? Ah! And
Yeah,
then
he reminds me of the actual traditional sports fan at the stadium or yelling at your TV at home.
He reminds me of an Eagles fan because Eagles fans do that.
And we suffer a lot, so we're very good at expecting the bad thing to happen and then getting angry when it does happen.
Oh yeah, it's good. He brings that energy though. I like it.
My friends pulled me into an NFL fantasy draft.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Drafts today.
Oh, good.
And I have no idea about this. I used to keep up 3 or 4 years ago, but
Just gonna YOLO it, roll some dice.
yeah, I'll figure it out.
So, okay, I want to go back to what you said about not getting to watch a game and having to talk about it on the panel, because this has happened to pretty much anyone who's ever had to work a panel. There's always a situation where a game ends really suddenly, or it's an unexpected one-sided stomp where you're like, okay, I'm gonna go eat for the first half of this game and watch the second half or something. There are always times when you miss something and kind of have to all right, give me the crash course and we'll expand from there. Have you ever had a scenario where someone's asked you a question on a panel and you have so little point of reference that you've had to just go, yeah, sorry, I can't even pretend I watched that one. Have you ever had to come clean and be like, no, I actually asked somebody else. I have no fucking clue.
He asked me to go through this play, and I was just like, Waga? That's what I said.
Really?
Yeah, it was silent for 3 seconds. I was like, there's no way I can talk about this team fight that happened without watching it at all.
You didn't even want to try and
No,
just do pseudo play-by-play. So it looks like a black hole gets
used.
canceled. Okay. Yep. Could have had better positioning there on the hook shot.
It just wasn't worth it. I was just like,
That's good. That's good.
That does happen a lot on panels, especially if it's long days. The first time that I think for the TI3 qualifiers, we had AUI came out to the house, and we also had Blitz there, and they would take turns basically sleeping through the game. So one of them would just not watch at all, would sleep for 3 hours. The panel comes back because I think they only came back when the series was over, and the other one would just talk, fill. They had watched the game, and then Blitz was napping. Then he comes in. He's like, yeah, and just to piggyback on that. So you see this all the time on panels, when you're behind the scenes.
sometimes I just ask Waga or Winter.
Yeah.
I'm mad. And I was like, oh, what happened this game?
Yeah.
And I was doing whatever.
It's inevitable, like you said, especially if it's the long days when you don't
And
have
it's especially if it's what we do sometimes, which is overnight shifts for Asian Dota on the West Coast. So you're actually completely upending your sleep schedule anyway.
Yeah, it's unavoidable. It is pretty funny though. There always comes a point when you're on panels, especially if it's I had a few of those moments at DAC where you're 12 hours in, it's been a really long day, you're like, okay, final best of 3. This is game 2. Are we going to game 3? It ends, you're going to game 3, you come back to the panel, and you have those moments where I feel like I'm just a deer in the headlights, where someone else is talking and you catch yourself not listening, and you're just like,
can you repeat that?
fuck, what did he just say? I totally missed all of it. And then my fail-safe's usually, so Merlini, what do you think about
You should
that?
just do one of the conversation enders. We had this discussion yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And remember, there's things that you can say to just end a conversation.
So yeah, good point, LD. I guess it really is just a numbers thing. Moving on.
Game was good.
I think it's a lot harder to do the panel than to cast in terms of especially down the stretch. The first few games is okay, but when you're casting, you have something very stimulating that constantly keeps you going. You're actively paying attention to the game. Normally there's good Dota happening, so you can kind of get into it, and you just have to watch. Whereas when you're on the panel, it's well, I could get a snack now.
Right.
Especially at TI, you've got fans coming up who want signatures and stuff. Then it's it's very easy to just not really pay attention down the stretch.
Yeah, it's weird how you have to keep your adrenaline going, but you can't just do all casting the whole time. So you'll just run out of energy at some point. But it's really hard. That's one of the hardest thing about panels is when you're just sitting there. Honestly, like that. Okay, it's 5 minutes into game 1. There's not really too much happening. God damn it, I'm so fucking tired. And you just want to put your head down.
I feel like the Starlighter events have been some of the toughest as well. Because, every Starlighter we've been flown in, we arrive, I think one time I arrived, 6 hours before the first, call time for the morning, of the first broadcast.
Yeah.
And then you got to get to sleep.
Well, a lot of that's this guy's fault because he's such a baby back bitch about going to Eastern Europe.
Dude, we had to fly to Oregon. Why Oregon, man?
Okay, that flight I'll agree was we drive to LAX.
That's the only one I complained about.
To have a direct. Well, that's the only one you retroactively complained about. But we have made a lot of travel plans. Knowing all right, Ben's gonna want to leave as soon as the games are done.
I just don't like Eastern Europe.
6 a.m. flight out. All right, fine. We're all just gonna go
thinks
together.
He's fucking eagle or something. It's just like, I want my plane waiting outside the arena, like, my Secret Service detail will escort me, and I just get on and they go.
It's only Starlight.
It's like we get off the plane to Kiev, and Ben's just like, I don't smell any freedom. What's going on? I don't think I like it here. Where's McDonald's?
I really don't like Kiev, though. That's definitely my least favorite.
See, I kind of like Kiev. That first time we went out to that bar not the Saturday, not the final night.
We went out with Sin.
Went out with Sin when he drank too much. I remember that.
Wow, that was fun.
That was
Then he thought he had Ebola.
And then
There was a prolonged period during that Star Ladder where everyone had to collectively try to talk him down that he did not have Ebola and he had not been exposed to anyone with Ebola. This was when there was like the one doctor that had come back from West Africa and was in New York City. And I'm like, first of all, the guy got contained pretty quickly. Secondly, none of us traveled through New York. You most certainly
He
did
was
not.
like, he was like, I think I was in ESL at ESL New York around the time that
it was
there.
like,
oh yeah.
It was
like,
but it was within like a 2-week window. It was, and he was just like, yeah, but I went bowling. I went out. I touched things, and I was just.
I didn't wear my mask when I went outside.
You're really getting paranoid. It's okay. I'm almost positive you don't have Ebola. I should just say I'm completely positive because.
And that
oh
was
my God.
And like the last day he was supposed to cast, he was really not feeling well. He was quite sick.
He actually did get sick.
So Ben ended up casting instead.
Yeah.
I think it's for the grand finals. Maybe it's the lower bracket finals. Anyway, he just wouldn't leave. Like he thinks he has Ebola, and he's just sitting in the players' lounge in the back room, like behind the stage at Starlighter, and he just like he's miserable and he's tired. And he's like moaning and like telling people like to not adjust the heat. It's too cold in there, and like there's all the players are worried about the tournament as well. But he just wouldn't leave. Like finally, Jay, one of the Russian hosts, like basically has to drag him back to the hotel, like throws him on his back.
That was funny, yeah, because he was just like, I don't think I can cast. And we're like, dude, it's fine. You know, you're sick. Just go back. We got it. We're good. You've already worked a lot. It's really no problem. But he was just like, no, I'm gonna see it through. I'm gonna stay till the end. And we were like, all right. I mean, I can't make you go back to the hotel. You do you. But why are you torturing
In
yourself?
good news, Sin did not have Ebola.
Yeah, and the conclusion of that story was he just had the shits. But still. It was shitty. That bar though was really nice. That was where we saw the Ukrainian ska band.
Yeah, it was kind of like Korean barbecue, but like Ukrainian style. Like
Yeah.
they'd bring out the food. You wouldn't actually cook it, but it would like cook in front of you.
Yeah.
They had, like these hot pots almost.
Yeah, they had like the hookah, and we got that meat platter. I had a nice cut of lamb. It was.
They
really,
drink a lot as well. It's tough to keep up with the Ukrainians.
Well, the trick is, I realized the way they just assume like you do the group drink. But if you need to meter yourself, you just don't do the whole shot because they'll always top you off. But if you only do like half the shot, they won't make fun of you. But they will make fun of you if you don't participate in the group drinking. So the trick is to do the half shots, and then you're at half the pace of everyone else, and then you don't die.
They're crazy though, man. I still remember the Summit one where Jay just was like walking around with a bottle of Fireball. He just drank like almost. It wasn't an entire handle of Fireball, but it was like close to that on the last night of the
vast majority of it. And the kicker,
and then he'd be taking shots with other people as well. The
kicker was though at the end of the night, he was not the drunkest one. He was the like responsible guy helping the people that drank too much, like get to the car, get back to the hotel. I'm just like, you actually are a tank. I remember having a moment where I thought
he's got like 2 livers. He's got a second one that's working overtime.
He has a twin brother. It is he confused liver and spleen. So he was just like, yeah, I have my liver removed, and I was just like, I sincerely hope you have never had your liver removed because I've seen you drink vast amounts of alcohol, and I don't know how you're still alive. He's like, oh no, I meant spleen. I was like, okay, that's a totally different part of the body. Jesus Christ.
Oh jeez.
They are hardcore though. I remember
Pavost was a lot of fun at the Summit one as well.
Oh yeah, he was the life.
I was really sad that Navi didn't make it to either the second or the third. We almost got them to come here just to cast like mostly for the Russian stream for the Summit 2, but they felt like they needed to like kind of practice and focus on the team at the time because I think they were second or third in the redemption vote there as well.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted to, some fan service. Let's just fly in Denny and Havos to keep the Russian viewers happy because we had no Russian teams or CIS teams at the event. But didn't work out.
It really sucks because there's always those individual players that you think, man, if that like No Tail's always that perfect example of if he just came and just hung out and was on the couch, it would add a lot to the event. But you can't pull one player away from a team for like 4 or 5
at
or
that
6
point.
days
At that
or
point, you
whatever.
might as well like from their point of view, it's like the whole team is basically
because the whole team's out of commission. You can't scrim, you can't really do anything, so it's kind of shitty. There's not an easy workaround for that. that one. It sounds really great on paper, but in practice, it's not so hot.
Yeah. Same issue camp with the TI Hub this year as well.
Yep.
They wanted to bring in, like, even Bone7, who lives in Romania, was maybe going to come by.
He was supposed to stop by. I don't think he ever even showed up. I know Weeha showed up for, like, one day.
Yeah, Weeha came for, like, the last day and snuck into the after party as well. So,
oh, did he?
yeah.
Wow.
He had fun.
What did you guys, speaking of after parties, what do you think about the TI after party this year? Because that's always been one of those, like, contested things, like, there were too many fans, or it was too, like, crowded, or last year nobody liked Katie Kate. It's a disaster.
I really like the TI3 after party because they had, like, a VIP area, so, like, at the end of an event, like, a lot of times, especially if, like, you've been working as a caster, like, it's because a lot of the players get eliminated early, right? So, you know, they have, like, some time off, but, like, if you're, like, doing the panel, or if you're TI3... I think we had 3 caster pairs, and, like, I completely lost my voice doing the finals. And, like, to the point where, like, I would just randomly, like, start choking, like, because I don't know, my throat was just
I remember hearing the VODs, actually. You sound you sound more hoarse than your typical hoarseness.
I'm surprised I didn't do more damage to my vocal cords, honestly. That was when I had no idea what to do with my voice. And I would just go completely out of control. But at the after party, like, they had, like, the VIP area, and then they had, like, the open area, and it was all pretty close, but, like, if you just wanted to go chill, if you're tired, you have that option. If you want to go mingle, you can. At TI4, TI5, it's just, like, everyone's in one big group, so there's just nowhere to go to relax, basically.
Yeah.
I like having the choice, because then I think people who want to socialize can, people who don't can kind of relax, and you don't force anyone to do anything they don't want to.
I mean, I don't have, like, that huge fan base. I'm not, like, on the Purge level, where he goes to a party like that and actually just gets mobbed. Like, he spends the entire party talking to fans because it's just, he's that popular. And he's also not that accessible because he works a lot during the events and stuff. You know, he's not around the floor as much. But for me, like, I'm visible for a lot of the event. A couple people come up to me, but it's... That kind of fan service doesn't bother me. How was it for you? Did you get approached a lot at the TI5 after party?
Yeah, there's some creepy people.
Okay.
I was like trying to walk out.
My next question.
I was trying to walk out with my girlfriend to the dance floor, and then some guy just like looks at me. He's like, "I can't wait to see her dance." I'm just like, "What?"
You're just like, "Can you fuck off, mate?"
I was just like, "What is such?" Anyways, TI3 Milk really hated it. He said he got groped by guys,
by dudes. I got groped by dudes. Worst after party ever.
Yeah.
Why? How does that come about? Was he like dancing?
Maybe he was giving out signals.
Yeah, like.
And his girlfriend had a great time, but he was like, "No, I had a terrible time. I was dancing, and I just kept getting groped by guys."
I don't know what to make of that.
Like, whatever.
I did. Neither of you guys went to the pub crawl, did you? The day before the.
I did not.
I ended up going. It was one of those weird things where you never know what the turnout's going to be for that kind of stuff. And I know Slacks was signed on for it, and the guy running it, this guy named Lauren, he's like the Barcraft guy, he asked me if I would come by to like one of the bars and just make an appearance so they could put me on the little list of, you know, guests. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll commit to one bar for like 15 minutes. You know, like I don't know if this is going to suck, like I'm not overcommitting here. And it was packed. There were so many people, and a lot of people ended up going, like Cap and Sheever, and I think James was at one of them. It was pretty bopping, but I don't know if I'm gonna do another pub crawl like that with it's.
Well, you had a little more fun than you intended on.
Well, it's just everybody wants to buy you stuff. If you know, when I'm in Seattle, the amount of people that come up to me and either try to give me marijuana or give me alcohol, if I accepted it from everyone, I would just die. Like, it's like I walk outside and people are like, Zyori, you gotta hit this right now. I'm like, dude, I'm not. I'm kind of working, and I don't do that with strangers, man. Like
some people in the Dota community do, though. There's a player who shall not be named. At the Summit, do you remember this? At the Summit 2 party. we won't say who the players, but there was a specific player at the party.
Yo, dude, just eat this. It's a good idea. Alright, I think I'm in.
A random fan comes up to him, just offers him something. He's like,
are you mental? When I heard that story, I'm like, alright, well, good luck, dude. Hopefully that was not something poisonous. Hopefully that guy wasn't just some fucking cracked out homeless dude that stumbled into the bar. Like, I mean... Jesus Christ!
It didn't surprise me at all when I heard who the player was. Just like,
I was
the most
surprised.
typical shit ever.
God, that was ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it's like the pub crawl was fun. It's just you really have to meter yourself if you are not trying to get blackout drunk. You need a safety person. Once you get to the third bar and people are really excited to see you, you need I need that +1 that's like, all right. I'm gonna have half this one.
You need a handler.
I needed a
personal
handler.
bodyguard. Rob. Rob's your man.
Well, and I didn't really party that much at this TI. Like, I mostly just watched games, hung out with people, like, so like the day before the after party, I was just really like, I want to go out, I want to bar hop, I want to go meet people. I'm like, I'm fucking ready. So I was like pumped up to go to the bar crawl.
Yeah.
So I was like pounding drinks like it was my job, and then at the end I just got way too giddy. And
I just want to play more Mafia, man.
Yeah.
There's like a core group of like 10 to 15 of us who just like never get tired of Mafia. Like, if there's a group ready, like, we'll always play.
You guys are a little too hardcore for me. I like Mafia some, but you guys are just too. I start to feel bad when it's a long game and halfway through I'm like, I just don't care about this as much as everybody else does, and then I just feel guilty because I'm not contributing. So
I mean, sometimes the first rounds drag. We had like the last day I was waiting to play because I missed the first game, and it was like a 2-hour night or day one. And then they end up just lynching the wrong person. Like they went around, they tried to lynch the same person like 4 times, never actually pushed it to a vote. Then they end up just killing the wrong person. Then the next day is another hour and a half, and then the Mafia win eventually with every single Mafia live. So it's like, guys, just speed it up. Like, not day one, you're probably gonna lynch the wrong person. Just go.
Yeah,
it's time here.
Yeah, it's a weird game. It is pretty telling though. I still contend that shit is such a good group bonding activity. Like for like. The overall healthiness of the scene, I think it's so good to have people that are normally like in a competitive nature where it's like, we're bidding on contracts against Toby or whatever it is, that like we can put that shit aside. It's like you have conflicting studios. We're natural competitors in this space.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you and Toby both want to cast the grand finals for every TI, and obviously you both can.
Every caster does.
Yeah, every caster does. Well, but you guys are like the grand finals guys. So you're naturally competitors. And it's cool that like all of the casters can kind of put that stuff on the shelf, come together for the big blockbuster event. And it's one thing to work together on the event, but to like do these kind of like group bonding activities together, it's pretty fucking cool. I don't know. I look at that as like a
Toby has gotten progressively worse at Mafia. Like the first game he played, he was Mafia. He actually ends up winning. He played pretty well. We had a cop who died without saying that they were cop, which was a new. Everyone was new to the game.
Oh, okay.
Then like. It's just been a downward spiral for him. Like, the next game that I remember for Toby that stands out was the Night Zero Vigi shot. He just YOLO shoots Period Flex. Now, Night Zero means, like, the game hasn't started. You have no information. Randomly shoots him. Then, it happened to be that he double-tapped someone who was getting medic saved. So, like, he pushes through a Mafia kill. And everyone's so confused because they're, like, trying to figure this out for a while. Finally, it just comes out as the Vigi.
That was such
I was modding that game. I'm like, Toby, what the fuck are you doing? And then at the hub, like, he just completely changed it up. Like, because he used to play, like, the Ted style, where you're, like, YOLO, aggression, like, let's just get someone lynched. Like, I just want to move this game along. Like, let's just, I think you're Mafia. I don't like the way you're looking at me. Like, just some, little thing, but you push the game forward. Now he's, like, when he's town, he just kind of sits back and it's like, Toby, that's not you, man. Like, nobody believes that.
That's not you, man.
He's just changed his style too much.
Did you hear about the thing that Hotbit did where he modded a game where there was no Mafia? Did you hear about that?
No, he created a beast.
He created a game but where nobody was Mafia. But he went through, I wasn't there for it, but he went through all the motions and still killed people off just randomly. Right?
It's so, so basically the way the game worked is, everybody go to sleep, Mafia wake up, Mafia who's your first kill, there are no Mafia, so everyone's heads down, Mafia who's your second kill, okay, Mafia, go back to sleep. So, like, he runs through the whole script, but everyone's regular town, so everyone's heads are down the entire time. And when the day starts, he's like, you're dead, you're dead. So he just mod kills 2 people, basically. And the funniest thing about it is, like, you see how silly sometimes, like, the logic that people have for their reads are. Like, oh, like, you don't play like this when you're town. Like, I'm so convinced that he's Mafia right now because, like, he's not leaning forward enough, or, his arms are crossed. It's, like, a very closed-off body posture. And then it turns out they're completely wrong. And so, like, the result of this game is, like, everyone just has to, like, think back on it. Like, if you ever thought someone was Mafia, you have to question your own reads.
It's such a good thought experiment. It's kind of like what you mentioned before, where, like, the ultimate test for a psychic, like, have a dummy experiment, and if they can't tell it's a dummy experiment, then obviously they're just guessing or whatever. Sort of a similar thing where it's like, I'm positive you're giving this tell, and, like, nobody's giving any tells.
The clip that Shiver was streaming that game, and there's a clip that I think someone recorded from the, what is it called? The Periscope thing. At the end of it, where, so the game ends, right? And then they kill off, I think it was it Nahaz? Whatever, they kill off one person, and then Hotbit says, there are no Mafia. At the immediate reaction of the other 3 is like, yeah, we got the last one, and they all start hugging and cheering. And then, like, I think either one of them asked or Hotbit's like, no, I mean, there were never any Mafia. And then, like, what? And like so, like they slowly, like you see, like the dawning, like what the fuck just happened? And then Nahaz, who had been drinking a bit this game, and earlier in the night, he's like, wait, what? And his face just gets so red, and Ken just starts to kind of inch away from him, and Nahaz just starts sprinting after him. And there's this video of Hoppin like prancing around the room, looking back, like making troll faces, and Nahaz just like furiously hunting him. It was like something out of like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
I can just picture that Hopin face. It's that same fucking one from that picture that was in the beginning of that TI5 Insanity group, where he's just like sitting off to the side when James is like, fuck Hopin, and he's just like, that Hopin smile.
It was the most like iconic Hotbid thing that Hotbid has ever done.
Yeah, it really is. But it's like that because it's one of those things that's really funny and trolly, but it has that soliloquy, you know, it has that second layer of like, oh, that doesn't.
It's an interesting experiment.
It makes me think about the game a little differently. Like, maybe I shouldn't be so cocky. But, like, you know, it's like Hopin saying, all right, these fucks are getting too cocky in their reads. Let's show them what Mach is
so
really
the reason
about.
why Hotbid did this is because he always gets Night Zero kill. He's probably like the most likely Night Zero kill.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck it. I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm gonna fuck with these assholes. You know, who always Night Zero kill me.
I should have known something was suspicious. I saw him in the group. He was like, hey guys, yeah, I don't want to play today, but I'd really like to mod. Let's get a game going. And nobody was suspicious that all of a sudden Hotbid's really, really eager to mod a game that should have been a Telltale's. Anytime Ken's excited about something, you should be like, all right, what is he actually excited about?
Be suspicious, yeah. That's tough, though. He's got a lot of good ideas, so.
He is. It's incredible how creative he is, man. He's just like an idea factory. He is.
That's true. He is.
It's like, it's just the way he's so good at doing that, like, he'll just start saying something random, and then he'll get you to react to it, and then he, like, says something funny about your reaction, and after like 5 or 10 minutes, you've like fleshed out this really cool, unique idea. Like, man,
you
I
guys
never really thought
weren't
about
there
that.
for ESL.
That's pretty cool.
We were on the bus back from ESL to the hotel, and this was after the whole entire event was over, and Secret had won. And then there's this thing called the Aegis experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the super VIP thing, and I think you have to like you like rent out a suite, so it's for like 10 or so people,
Holy
or
shit.
something like that. And then on the badge was like the numbers of everyone involved, if you need to call a player manager or whatever. And then he had like a production one, and he didn't really do that much during the event. So at the end,
He did like 2 interviews.
yeah, he did a couple interviews. So at the end, he ends up calling the guy for the Aegis experience. He's like, "Hey, I'm here for the Aegis experience. I just arrived. Where is everybody?" And the guy went along with it for a few minutes, and then he just hung up.
What?
Really funny.
Where
Fucking
is everybody?
Yeah. When did the game start?
What?
That's just like, yeah, Hopin is.
What a character.
LD, do you ever go back and look at old things that we did at BTS that at the time we thought was really cool and like the bee's knees, and you look at it now and go, what the fuck were we thinking? Have you ever had one of those moments recently?
No, I don't really go back.
I know.
I really don't. Like,
I don't do it very often
No.
either. I did it a little bit for the sake of memories and just fishing for stuff. Do you remember at the beginning of the Summit 2, the intro that we did to open the show? Do you remember it?
I remember the Summit 1, where they were like, it was Ben and Parker in the pool thing.
Yeah, I remember that one. Summit 2 was when we had Pyrian Flax by himself in the dark,
Oh, that was great.
and he calls, and you guys are just like, where is everybody? LD told me to show up, and you're just like, all right, hold on. You're just like, all right, we're coming, and then all of a sudden you guys just come storming in, and it's like, okay, the show starts, and then the intros just start rolling.
Yeah,
It's-
it was him like walking through the house and nobody was here, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck is going on, guys? I'm like ready for the show to begin."
Yeah, it's like, I still think it was pretty funny. It was sort of my idea, so I'm a little biased. And it's like, it fits the like I feel like he's the only person we could have chosen for that to be like passably cringeworthy funny.
Cringe.
It's
I
like
hate
it's like
that word.
it's like cringy funny because it's
Yeah.
like you see right through it instantly. You know it's like a gag,
Yeah.
but it's still funny because it's just Ted by himself, just like, what do I do? I don't know. It's LD. What the fuck, man? Like it's
You fly me all the way out here, now there's like nothing going on.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I was really sad Ted couldn't make it to the
Yeah.
third summit, but we definitely want to have him back for the fourth.
yeah.
That's my boy.
He's just a good addition to like. He's one of those people that even if you don't use him on camera that much, he just adds this energy to the whole house. You know, like whether he's playing poker or playing board games,
He
he's
hustles
always
people at poker.
he does hustle people at poker.
Is he good?
Don't get hustled by him.
He's good, and he's also a hustler. He pretends that he's shittier than he is, and then you sit down and you come back and you're like, whoa, somebody's cleaning up. Pyrian Flax. He's a moneymaker, dude.
Some of the players tend to drink a little much when they're playing the poker, so they're a bit easy to hustle, I would say.
I didn't win that poker game, but I played one poker game at the Summit 3 where I hustled Sin, and it just felt so good, mostly because he was so upset about it. And Ben was at the table, too.
Sin is ridiculously competitive.
He is. And I was like, I was drinking a little bit. I had a little buzz going on. I was kind of like hamming up how drunk I was, and I was kind of pretending that I didn't understand how to play poker, but in a trolly way, and I was riding that line of where I think Sin knew I was joking, but couldn't tell how much I was joking. There were a few times I was just like, how many red ones is it again if I want to play? Shit like that. Or I'm like, what if I have 2 twos? So Sin tries to bully me, and he shoves me all in, and I was like slow rolling a full house or like a pocket pair or something, and I had like, it was something pretty good. And I'm just like, all right, all in, I'll call it. And of course I won, and he just goes, fuck! And I lost to you, of all people! And he sat there, and anytime I made a play, he's just like, oh, fuck, God, of course you would do that. And he was just so visibly salty, and he's like sitting in his chair, he's like agitated, he keeps switching the leg cross.
He does the thing with the arms as well, where like the arms just kind of like undulate around.
It was so satisfying. It really was. It was just like, I didn't win, but that was the most satisfying poker play I've ever made. That was so much fun. Poker definitely creates bonding experiences.
You beat Synderen at something.
I beat Synderen at one time. So it was kind of like, the stats guy for the Russian stream at TI, that Frostnova.
Oh, I have an interesting story with him actually.
Really?
So
it was like a chess grandmaster.
So we're hanging out at the players' dinner. This is, I think, like the day before the group stage starts, was it, or the wild card or whatever?
Yeah, I think so.
And it's like towards the end of the night, and I'm like, oh, Winter's really good at chess, because they're like, oh, this guy's like a chess player. Mm-hmm. They didn't really say how good he was. Like, Winter's really good. He's a national champion from Malaysia. Like, you guys should play. We can have like a Russian versus. Yeah, he's really good. He was number 1 ranked in Malaysia a ways back. But so I'm like, oh, you guys should play. We'll have like an RU versus like Ian showdown. This will be some Kasparov level Bobby Fischer stuff. Like, let's get it on.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he's a grandmaster. He's like top like 15 in the world or something.
Yeah. Supposedly this guy's like
he's got a Wikipedia profile, and I show it to Winter the next day because they showed me they weren't trolling. I'm like, but Winter, I'm really sorry. I think you're gonna get destroyed by this. They never ended up playing, but
well, Arzar did the same thing to Sind at that same party. I guess this was the trap. They just kept trying to fool people, and he was like, the way he was pitching it to Sind was just like, hey, do you want to play chess against somebody that's pretty good? Sind was like, well, how good is he? And he's just like, oh, he's pretty decent. You want to play a cash game for money? And Sind was like, no, I don't want to play for money until I know how good he is. And Arzard is like, he said, how about $10? Sind was like, no. And then Arzard looks at him and goes, how about $20? And Sind just goes, you're going in the wrong direction, dude.
Arzard's actually a really big troll. He's kind of shy and quiet, but if you get to know him, it's super funny.
It was really funny. But it's like the way they're trying to like pitch it. I'm just like, well, he's good, but he's not that good. I'm just like, Sin saw right through, and he's just like, no, I'm not even good at chess. And they kept trying to bait him, like, oh, so you're saying you're pretty good, huh? You think you're pretty hot shit?
And he's like, no.
And he's just like, no, that's actually the opposite of what I'm trying to say. I just kind of like chess a little bit. Actually, I had a lot of fun watching the Empire VP tiebreaker series. I watched it with Balat and Casper and Ina and Goblack. Goblack's also a pretty big troll. He kept telling me I needed to speak more Russian, but he wouldn't tell me how to say things in Russian. So I'm just like...
And then he'd feed you something that was like...
Yeah, and then
random...
Yeah, and then he would say something in Russian, and everyone would start laughing, and I'm just like, I don't really know how to handle this. This is not how Balat and Casper make fun of me. They don't just say random shit in Russian and just start cackling.
They point at you and start laughing.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, this is not as much fun for me as it is for you guys, but I'll laugh along, because I want to be part of the team. Yay. I like Casper, though, man. He's so nice. I don't want to share a hotel room with him, but I'm happy to share a beer with him.
So at the Summit one, he had to share a hotel room with Casper.
No, Ben did.
Oh, Ben did. Yeah, and it was so bad that Ben just came back to the house and slept on the floor in his closet.
Literally just on the floor. Like, I remember seeing the look on your face the next day. You were just like, that was a disaster.
Yeah, he's the loudest snorer.
And is it true? Did it happen at the Summit 3 too? The tradition for every Summit to be kicked off right is for Casper to fall asleep during the night before welcoming party in public view on the couch that will be the couch on camera. Every party. He shows up, he has like one beer, is very social for an hour, and then he's just snoring, passed out hard. People are putting drinks on him, using him as a coaster, and he's just out.
Volat's got like the Sharpie out and just drawing on him. No, that did actually happen, but they're accustomed to it. Like none of them were remotely surprised. Like that's his thing apparently.
Yeah. But that he falls asleep. That's like.
Yeah. Apparently, it's just very common.
Casper's I've heard he has like he's actually not a big drinker. So all the Ukrainian talent all drink a lot, but Casper has a sensitive stomach, so he's a big teddy bear, really.
Takes it easy. I
gave him his coat he bought that nice coat at Summit 2 and then Star Ladder 11 or Star Ladder 12. The last one we went to in Kiev, I guess it was 11.
It took you like 6 months, well, us 6 months to get it back to him.
But he was just like, "Do you have my jacket?" And I gave it to him, and he was just, or I told him where it was, and he was just like, "Oh, thank you." He's like, "My wife was so mad." Apparently it was like a pretty expensive, like nice. It's like a really nice leather jacket. And he just left it here. Most things that get left here like that don't make it back to their owner.
No.
Who was it? Was it Cottle Guy's sweater that was here for like almost a year, just hanging over the balcony? And we were like, "Yep, that's Cottle Guy's sweater."
Oh, was it his?
Yeah.
Well, I think so. Yeah, that was like
returned it to him
before. I think it was when he came from the NA hub. He left it for the NA hub, and then there was a
nice
long
surprise.
window.
He gets it back eventually.
Yeah, aged and covered in cat hair. It's pretty good.
Possibly other
Pretty
things.
nice. Yeah.
Hopefully he washed it.
Oh, knowing Dakota, I'm sure he washed it. Dakota's one of those like clean kind of, I'll go the extra mile to be organized types.
Yeah, we definitely sanitized the house after the summit.
Yes, every summit needs a new. You need the.
We need to start
cleaning.
doing what's the cleaning where like they basically gas the house.
Fumigate.
Fumigate. We need to start fumigating the house. That's how we really lock it down and just make totally sure that everything's.
Yeah, that's an approach. It's always like the aftermath of the summit. It's always like just jarring how much trash gets made at events, because the summit isn't even like a big event compared to something with an audience, and just the amount of like trash and consumption that happens in those like power sessions of like a 3-day event is just. It makes you feel a little bad for Mother Earth.
That's the funny thing with the first summit is like we planned like so thoroughly, like we really thought we'd thought of everything. We didn't think about trash, and so by the end of the event, the garage was like just.
It was filthy.
It was filthy, and it was just full of trash. Like literally, like shoulder high pile of trash.
Yeah,
cans.
it was like that was just one of those moments of where I just felt actually like a complete idiot. Like how did not only just me personally,
everybody,
but none of us think like, all right. And we were thinking about some like weird micro stuff too, of like little things that we needed to tweak, little decorations, and so no one thought about what we're gonna do with the mountain of trash. We'll just put it in the trash cans. When they fill up, we'll just throw it outside. We'll just throw it in the garage.
I think the first one was only a 4-day event.
Yes.
So it wasn't as bad, but
4 days of that shit cooking in the garage though is a recipe.
And it was the summer one. It was pretty hot.
Yeah, it was stinky.
It was cooking.
I remember seeing just like half-eaten pizzas just like thrown about, like not even in bags, just because once it's a pile, it's very tempting to be like throw trash in the pile.
Yeah.
So you're trying to haul it, and you're just like, this is just a half-eaten pizza that's been cooking in the garage.
That was fun.
Dang.
That was fun. We had after the event's over, we ordered like a miniature dumpster. And I think me and Brian took turns. Like we had to like get ourselves in the dumpster on top of the mound of trash, and then like jump on it to compact it so we can make more room for the trash that was still remains.
Yeah.
Needless to say, those shoes got cleaned or thrown out in short order. That was kind of gross. But Summit 2 and 3, we learned from it. It's it's just one of those things, man. Like there's always gonna be something you haven't considered until you run an event. It happens like no matter what the scale is.
It really is. Like I've been to so many events, but the level of like learning and like things that you just never even thought about from actually doing shit like that is just unreal. It's just like you can't plan for it except for just to jump in and fucking do it. And play.
Same with anything, like with casting, with playing Dota. Like,
you just gotta play a heads-up game, man.
You know Milk's League of Legends team?
I know that he manages.
He manages League of Legends.
I don't know which one it is.
It used to be Alliance, but apparently they're not allowed to have like 2 teams run by the same owner. So Alex Garfield owned EG as well as Alliance, so they passed off Alliance to him, and then they renamed it Elements. And we were like cracking up about it and constantly make fun of him. He's actually never played a League of Legends game, but anyways, we constantly make fun of him all the time for this.
Okay.
And I asked him what's the best joke that he's heard about his team. He said there was some Reddit comment because his team's like actually doesn't win all that often. He's like, I didn't know trash was an element.
That's a pretty good put down. I like that.
One of the better ones.
The only other thing that I looked back and saw that was like we talked about it last night when we were at KBBQ was the like episode 1 of In the Studio when we had no backdrop and it was just a black curtain That was a mistake. That was we were so excited to reveal the studio. That original camera shot compared to like the new desk, the new like LED backdrop, the panels.
Yeah.
It was a world of difference.
We also didn't really know much about lighting back then. This was like 2 years ago, practically.
Hey, Broccoli Rob!
The party has arrived.
All right, guys. So I did something that's kind of fun. Maybe I didn't put in as much effort as I should have, but I got some pictures. They're kind of random in nature, but we can look at them, we can talk about them, and we can make some jokes. And they're not all the same size or resolution, so it's gonna be a thing. So, let's just zoom in a little bit, and let's see. Wait, I've got a really nice looking preset here. Yeah, look at that production value.
Oh, this is incredible.
So, okay, guys, look at the Summit 2 logo. What do you think, Ben? Do you approve?
This is not the highest resolution.
I thought most of the logos were pretty good.
Really? What was your overall take on all the Summit logos, LD? Was it like...
Do we have the first one? Or is this
no, this is just a random picture I found that made me think, oh, Summit 2. Never forget, you know? Hashtag don't change.
Most people will say, oh, you're from Los Angeles, and then when we tell them where we're actually from, they're like, that's not Los Angeles.
My God, that's like the pretentious, like, oh, I never heard that one before, dude. Thanks a lot. I know the Inland Empire is not Los Angeles, but guess what? To somebody in Europe, they don't know the fucking difference, and they don't fucking care either. Newsflash. Nobody, except for the people in Los Angeles, give a shit about that. Oh, this is a good fan art. This one just creeped me out, kind of because I feel like my face on your body looks kind of like Gran.
I look like Frankie CPK. I think.
And your face on my dress.
You look very feminine. Like, you look more feminine.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
If you ignore the facial hair part.
And what also stuck out to me about this picture was this is really old because you can tell by the backdrop. That's just the white wall.
No, this was when we didn't have, like, we had to, like, build the studio in, like, a day. Yeah. We had a random cup just come up out of nowhere.
I think this is you and me casting the ESP Shock Therapy Cup. This was the first tournament you and I ever did.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling really shitty about it because I hadn't cast in like a month and a half since then, so I was really rusty and my camera control was
a lot of good teams in the cup, you know.
Yeah, it was
a lot of people.
That was a
questioning
fun event.
your every move.
Yeah, that was one of the most nerve-wracking events I think I've ever had to cast. Oh, here's a nice one. This is just this is Summit 1. So there's LD with Kuro and Puppy casting, Velat drinking a Capri Sun. Then in the back you've got Dan, our cameraman, talking to Zio. He was a business dev guy for Navi. And then you got Moose back there behind Elaine, doing some Moose shit. And yeah, Elaine's just looking at Velat, smiling, living the dream.
Good times.
I know, man. Just look at that camera shot, though.
Man, this is going to evoke the feels for
I know,
the viewers.
Seriously. This is
the Puppy Kuro
this is way back, man.
Maybe going by the wayside.
You're all smiling. Oh, this is one of my favorite pictures of it. This was on my website for a long time. That's why it's low res. It's just
looks so derpy.
It's just a nice, like, the three of us. I titled it Zyori and the Two Davids. I like that the donkey's behind it as well. This was either the final day before I went to the viewing party because we had all the stuff in the background at Summit 1, or it was like the day before. It was the day that we filmed. I think it might have actually been the day that we filmed that little, like, we've got swag everywhere in that little video in the garage. That was
Parker
fun.
has like periods where he's like super unkempt.
Yeah, and that's the
It's just very random.
His Beatles hairdo.
Well, like, they don't decide he wants to like look nice. He like shaves. You know, he gets a haircut. He wears real clothing.
It's really low res, but this is Malaysia. That's Winter, Parker, and I playing in the Invasion Land Cafe. It's right near where Winter's house is.
You look happy.
Fun. Yeah, dude, I was
Winter's
so happy.
like, I just want a fucking pub, dude. Like, can we get this photo session over with?
We rocked up.
Pause, please.
We didn't even take this picture. We rocked up and we were just like, hey guys, what's up? And Winter just started speaking to him in Malaysian and said, all right, it's all good. We're going to the private room in the back. I guess they like recognized us or whatever. So we were playing in like, that's like the box where teams get to come, where it's only 5 computers. It's like soundproof and everything. Section. It's like air conditioned and the rest of it isn't and shit. So I was just fucking pumped to play some SEA pubs. Winter's like, yeah, SEA pubs suck, dude. Your life's about to get a lot worse. That's pretty much the face that he's making. Come on, there we go. Okay, oh, there we go. More Malaysia pictures. This is me and Cool Warlock cosplay. I'm fighting.
That guy went all out.
I was really sweaty. It was super hot. Yeah, this guy was...
How sweaty do you think he must have been?
He was super fucking sweaty. You can see it on his face. This guy was really cool. The cosplayers in Malaysia were really awesome. They just like... They were just a casual... Like, they were a cosplay group, and they just kind of rocked up. And the way they explained it to me was basically like... Major All-Stars was like, cool, cosplayers. Let's take some pictures and shit. So they kind of got all this attention and got promoted a lot. It was weird because I walked up to the group of cosplayers like, hey guys, mind if I take some pictures? Like, I was kind of like a fan of them, and I didn't realize that they were all like super nervous, just like, could we also get a picture
The famous
with you?
Western caster Zyori.
Please, it was like, that Crystal Maiden was all excited and shit. Yep, that was fun.
I hope there's more good events for SEA because I feel like they
I hope
really
they
have
handle
like
it
some of the
as
most
well.
passionate fans in the world. Like I'd say more so than any other region.
It's
to be totally
incredible.
honest, but,
Dude, I was blown away
but like,
by
look
it.
at the events they've had. They've had like SMM, which is a decent event for what it was at the time, but like you look at some of the other tournaments, like major all stars, like a fun time, but just not a good event by any means. And I hope they get a major in some way in the region so that like the fans from SEA can actually attend to be a part of it.
That would be sick, actually. So this is the fly. I think Wick made this. Wickram, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was Staka. I forget. But this was like the first flyer for the first in the studio. Jimmy looking like a total badass per usual, right?
It looks like he's in a Vichy jacket.
Yeah. And
what is that, Jay?
I don't know. I found this picture randomly. I was like, man, things have changed. The first episode was awesome. Look at all those names, all these guests.
Cinderin got facial hair.
Yeah, Cinderin looks like a badass in this picture too. It's just this picture just makes things like you look at this picture, you think it's gonna be fucking epic, and then you see like what the reveal of the set is like, and I feel like this picture was almost cooler than the reveal in some. Oh, this is a good one. That's me from PAX East holding a golden Teemo that I got from. I don't even think that was mine. I think
How is that golden?
Or it's silver. It's like a metal.
Looks like it's
Teemo.
obsidian or something.
Yeah, I think it's partially the lighting. That was actually at the official Riot after party at PAX East 2014.
That is like the widest smile I think you've ever had. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Look at my teeth,
dude. I was really excited. That was like I got into the League of Legends after party as a full-time Dota 2 caster, and Rioters were just coming up to me like, "Dude, fucking Zyori's here. I love you on the summit." And I'm like, "You're wearing a Riot shirt. You literally work for Riot. Are you allowed to say that out loud?" And they're like, "Yeah, man. It's all cool. Your hair's cool, man." You know. I was like, "Wow, this party is actually way cooler than I thought." And I was talking to that pink-haired girl. That was fun. We were dancing a little bit. So I was just excited to be alive that night. That was really a fun time.
You and your colored hair.
I love girls with colored hair, man. I don't know what it is. This is a nice one. All right, so this is NA Hub, right? This was actually taken from when they matched up those pictures of, like, the NA Hub versus EU Hub to show off our fine gentlemen versus all the grills on the other. But I thought this was a nice, happy picture. Gerg looks fucking happy.
I think my favorite moment from the NA Hub was when Greg passed.
He's just on the couch, like beached whale style, just like belly hanging out, just sitting by himself playing Hearthstone on a tablet, literally not talking. And then Base Kip is like asleep on the floor on a beanbag chair. No music, no nothing.
No viewer interaction. This was towards the end of the hub, I think, when people
burned out and tired. And shit.
And it's like it's hard enough just to cast like 12 hours.
I was just like, Greg, you could just sit in a position so that your belly is not overwhelming one of the couch cushions. Like you're making yourself a target right now.
Like the juxtaposition of that versus like the EU Hub, where like the couch was the big show and they always had people there and always content. It was just so great.
There's the announcement image. It's cute. I always like this picture. Just very crisp and
I still remember
nice.
seeing you without your dreads. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That was a crazy day.
Just part of what... This is from PAX East 2014. This was the event where I got to be... I like made friends with Gerg.
What the hell's with his hair?
I know, dude. And this is April 2014. Look how much different he looks. Doesn't he... Gerg's not aging well.
Jesus.
Doesn't he look good, though? He looks so like... He's got so many more gray hairs now. He never looks that happy anymore.
Why is there a gnome barfing?
That's a weird bag.
It's just the We Love Fine. I don't know. It's like the We Love Fine. You know how they are that shit. But yeah, that was the event where I really got into the Gerg. Oh, this is
my man.
This is Summit 2, as you can see by the title. This was Steve. I think this was how we closed the show, right? Just Aoki.
Oh God, are you one of
It was
those guys
after
that
the
have
All-Stars
50 tabs
match.
open?
Well, this wasn't my screenshot. This was just a random one I found on the
this?
net. Yeah, I think it was just from
This
the
is
net.
making me very unhappy.
Can you see their name logged in? Look, it's Jerry FRZ. So Jerry, you got to work on your tab management, dude.
This is just
and it's all Reddit too. What the fuck,
A few of
man?
my friends do that too.
It's literally all Reddit. But
Like,
yeah, that was.
Like what the? Is that like every single post on Reddit that he's trying to open
So
up here?
one of my favorite things about this screenshot, though, I don't know if you guys can see it on stream, is in the chat, Cyborg Matt, that's Ice Frog. Just like. The timing is that it's like Matt's at his computer watching, ready to be like, no, that's fucking Ice Frog, guys. Just trust me, we're in. So another major All Stars, and I always joke about Winter making the sour face. This picture is like Every picture we took at Major All-Stars. Me cheesing my ass off, Parker sort of smiling sometimes, and Winter always going, I'm fucking serious, and I'm serious about these pictures.
It's a very cultural thing, I feel like. It seems like
is.
most of the, especially like a lot of the Chinese and like Southeast Asian like personalities and players I met, like they just don't smile.
And it's kind of his
not
brand.
a thing.
It's kind of his brand there too. Like BTS has always very much been about like, you know, making jokes, keeping it light, kind of like grassroots and stuff. So we make jokes with Winter, but when you're in like that arena over there, he's known almost more as a player and like a serious analyst. So he's not like the joke guy.
He's a very clowny personality in reality.
Yeah, he started loosening up after the group stage.
Yeah.
But he like didn't really quite understand the use of Kappa, so he would just start saying Kappa after everything. He's like, they pick Leshrac, Kappa. And I'm like, that's not how you use it. And he would just say it after everything. I mean, obviously sometimes it would be appropriate, but sometimes it's just like...
He loved trolling Paul at TI5. You weren't even in the WhatsApp group, but there was this joke about, he kept saying when Paul would ask about stuff, Winter would be like, oh yeah, no, there's rehearsals tonight. And then Paul would get all activated about it, and then he'd just be like, Kappa. And then on the last day when he was saying bye, he's just like, alright, I'll see you guys later. Have fun at rehearsals tonight, Paul. Paul just sends back, you little shit, ...
He's definitely got a lot more comfortable over the past like year or so.
There's a nice picture of me with the long hair. This is, that's TI4 getting interviewed by somebody. Look at that.
Do you still keep the dreads, by the way?
Yeah, it actually freaked me out.
So for those of you who don't know, he got the dreads cut, but he didn't, like, normally, like, they just sweep the hair away, right?
Just burn it.
He got it bagged up, and he's got it in storage in his room.
I still have it, yeah.
I'm not even joking.
It actually creeped me out when I was packing some stuff, and I was going through these boxes, and they're in, like, a grocery bag, like just a yellow or a white bag, and I was like, oh, I wonder what's in here, and I kind of put my hand in and went, oh, God! It's God, it's my own hair. Man. Kind of forgot about that.
Are you keeping it?
Well, I didn't throw them away yet, but since that moment, I scarred myself with my own dreads. I did meet a guy at this TI, though, that is actually really... I've gotten...
A dread collector?
I've gotten 2 emails from him, and I met him. He's like, I'm the guy. I'm that guy that really wants one of your dreads. And I'm just like, I mean, if you're not making fun of me right now, I mean, I'll give you one. I don't really care, but what are you going to do with it? And this is exactly what he said. I will be the only person that has a Zyori dread because no one else wants one. And I was like, well, that is true. I've never met anyone else that wants one as badly as you do.
Well, not as badly as it, but that's not true entirely.
If I have all the
others, Fog told you last TI that if he made it to the main event, he would like sew one of your dreads.
Anakin Skywalker style. He'd sew it in behind the ear and then bring it down here, camera side as well. And I was just like, dude, I'm fucking in for that. You can have all of them if you'll do that. I don't give a fuck. Oh man. So
I tried to get those banner posters, you know, on the wall.
Oh, here's a great one. The banner posters.
Like if you go back, they have those that decor on the wall. I wanted or on the pillars.
Oh, these things.
Yeah, I tried to get those for my room.
They said no.
Do they just throw
They
them
didn't
away?
respond to me.
Oh, yeah, they probably just get trashed.
Oh, so the nipple.
This is the nipple.
So when we first revealed this backdrop, which was we ended up reusing it because we were waiting for like another one to get printed. Like at first everyone's like, oh, the Aegis looks so awesome, and then someone pointed out that it appears to have a giant nipple, and then every time this backdrop would come up during the TI qualifiers,
nipple,
Ellie giggle forehead.
Dude, that backdrop was one of those like weird things that became kind of like an icon, where like you had it from the old studio, it sat outside forever, rolled up. We brought it here, and we were just like, let's just throw it away. I'm never going to use this. And then we didn't have a backdrop up. We needed a backup backdrop. We were like, fuck it. This is generic. We can use this, right? And then we hung it up. We ended up leaving it up there for what, like 4 months or something?
It was a while.
We used it for a long time, and it looked. I mean, it looks like it's like the contrast is a little.
We
off,
casted some shitty Starlighter games.
We did cast some shitty Starlighter games with that. Backdrop.
I think this was when Starlighter was at its like absolute zenith of just ridiculous volume of games. Like they had the 16 team BO1 round robin.
Ugh.
So I think it's like what, like 100. Is it 100 like 80 matches or almost? It's like almost 200 games. I think they're all BO1s too.
Yeah, it was that. And there were some. Ben and I had some pretty clowny games.
It was like Chicken MC. We always talked about him.
Back to the streets.
There was that. Remember like June's Darkseer or In July? I don't know. I think it was In July. He was like off-lane Darkseer versus a tree, and then he skills Surge at level 1. He was getting zoned out, and he skills Surge, and he like ran around in a circle around him.
Eventually dies.
No. And then he like gets to like 10% HP, and then he has to go home, and then he has a jungle with level 1 Surge. And then Andrew and I are just like, this game's so lost.
What is going on?
Yeah. And he's like level 3, like 10 minutes in, and we're just like,
That must be
I
like
actually do remember that.
That must be like the only pro game where Dark Series ever skilled Surge at level 1.
it was so funny though.
There were a couple. I wish I
We're
could
just
remember more of this.
cracking up.
That would have been really funny to pull up some of the highlights of Ben and I just going like. There were a few flamethrower games where Ben was just like, all right, we got a few more. The draft. I don't know what these idiots are gonna pick. Flamethrower everywhere. Poor Merlini. That was fun though. The old Star Ladder overlays.
Oh, the Dark Series.
Ben making that. I'm really interested in what you have to say, Face. Here's me getting interviewed by Shiver at DAC. That was a fun interview. We had to do 2 takes because the first one, my opening, I talked about having a stuffy nose for 2 minutes. And I was like, you know what, Shiver, I don't want to talk about being sick for 10% of this interview. So we did it. We did it over.
You gotta redo.
Yeah, there's me
Don't always
getting...
get those in
What is
life.
this?
This is the Star Ladder in Bucharest. This is really recent, actually. I was getting interviewed by the Fragbite guys, the Swedish dudes.
You look angry.
It's just like...
Or like you have to poop.
I was just about to like. I was just like, wait, what? It's a. I don't know. It's kind of a cool angle. That was a fun event though. That Bucharest DreamHack. That was really fun. Classic. So this is the filming of the house tour.
This is right after we moved in.
This is right after we moved in. This is the K-pop Tosa's bedroom.
Did we ever show the roll-in video? I think we released it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. We ended up releasing it. Yeah, this was we did that. Remember we did that little bit where Brian's
living
living
in
in the
the
Harry
closet.
Potter, or he's going to stay in there. We definitely had a few comedy bits that sounded better on paper, but our comedic timing was a bit off.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was one of them. This reminded me of that house tour. Brian, look, he's got his chalkboard. You know, he's making sure he's got his Tadeuski up to date. I always thought he had a cool setup though, with the like giant monitor near his desk. It's pretty nice.
I've been trying to go 3 monitors. I've been considering it.
Oh, here's the. So this was from Summit 1. This is like Summit 1. We had so much fucking swag, dude. Valve sent us all those cool T-shirts. We had all that cool shit from 100TB.
They just like dumped like everything that they didn't sell already.
We had like 200 of those Twitch shirts, like 500 lanyards.
It was pretty excessive.
It was a bit excessive. Yeah, it was. I think we might still have a box of those Twitch shirts, and we have like a box got left behind because I remember we couldn't find the mediums. We were giving them out. And we found it later. I think we still have like literally an ass load of those still. There's Zoe interviewing me at TI4. This was the interview. So I was wearing leggings in this picture, right? This is like my debut wearing leggings in public. And Zoe comes up to me and says, "Oh, let's do a quick interview. It'll be funny." I'm like, "Okay, your first question. So, this is Zyori. He's wearing leggings. You must be very confident in your sexuality to wear something like that." And I was just like, how do I answer that question? What kind of a question is that?
I don't know, man. Between you and Parker, like he's so for those that don't know, God says like you know how girls have like booty shorts where like they barely cover your butt and they got something written there just like draw even extra.
Usually they say juicy on the ass.
Yes.
I don't think his actually say that, but
his
that's
don't have anything written, but they are literally like male booty shorts. So there's the picture of him from DAC. Do you remember that?
Oh, where he
and it
comes
also
with
has
mud
like the
golems.
golem poster going on, like it's absolutely
my
terrible.
God. If we could find that picture, that is awful. Yeah.
Between him and you fucking prancing around the house in your one size too small tights, I've never felt so like violated in my life.
Let's see. If I just Google God's mud golem, does it come up?
Yeah. Golem get you gone, I think it
Golem
is.
get you gone. That was the name of the picture. Let's see here. Images. At Mud Golems on Twitter. Oh yeah.
First result.
First hit. Oh my fucking God. That is.
If you
that
see
is
this
awful.
image, you've been cursed by the golem.
Oh, sweet fucking Jesus. Okay, well, now that I've scarred myself.
So
Now you know how we feel when you walk around in your fucking tights.
Alright, fair enough. This was High Ground TV interview from TI4.
Oh.
Mott and Gerg. This is the one where Kala Guy is in the bathroom and he does a cameo where he comes out pretending to be drunk. And it never says anything. He literally stumbles out of the bathroom and then stumbles back in like halfway through.
Distinct lack of Mott nips in this picture, though.
Yeah. Look how happy Mott looks, though. He just looks happy to be alive in this picture. I really like it. That candid Mott smile. This is a good one. So, you know what? This is from obviously, this is DAC qualifiers from the house. This is upstairs on the 3rd floor. Shannon and I were casting a game. There was like a 30-minute pause. So we just started talking, and I trimmed it out. And it's like, dude, this is just a fucking podcast right here. Boom. What I love about this picture is that Shannon is so excited. He's actually doing, like, the limp wrist, like, oh, stop it. Like, just look at his hand motion. He's in mid, like, oh, you. And that's just not emotion that Shannon does very often.
That's like something I would expect out of you. Definitely
Exactly.
not out of him.
That's always made me. This is actually the thumbnail that YouTube pulled, and it always like just made me so happy that
Perfect.
YouTube found like that inner little flower in Shannon just pulled out right there in his son's shirt. Oh, this is the first Zyori podcast that we ever did on camera. Me and Connie.
This was before Connie was a manager.
Yep, this was.
He was working for EG.
This is NA Hub.
He came in to help with production. He kept on forgetting to give the videos that he had created to Brian so we could show them.
Yep. He came to help out in production. He just came. That was when he was working for EG as
he was a GGA member.
Production.
It's weird not
or
seeing
something.
him in a suit anymore.
I know.
Yeah, I feel like I only ever see him in a suit now.
That was a fun. I think that's also the longest podcast I've done. It was like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Connie can talk.
It was longer than most movies. It was brutally long. It was. I don't think I could.
You know what? This is when he broke the couch.
Yeah, Conrad broke the couch. That was the event. Yeah, that's why I'm sitting in.
We were trying to install the. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we have like the.
It's not on camera now.
We've got like the really cool badass shield that.
The Vanguard.
Who makes those?
Is it
Weta. The
Weta.
Weta. We have like the Weta shield.
I was gonna say Wepis.
The Wepis shield. Yeah, we've got the shield of Wepis here. And like Conrad was trying to adjust it, and he just stood up on the couch. It just randomly broke, and everyone gives him shit.
This is the old setup in my room too. Now my desk is over next to my bed. All these changes, man. Oh, this is just a random crowd interview from TI4. You can see he's got a VIP badge. I talk about this guy a lot, actually. This is one of the crazy Aussies that got a Fnatic tattoo at TI4. Literally, like right here on his arm, he's got a giant Fnatic tattoo. It's in the Beyond the International 4 video that's on the Beyond the Summit YouTube. There's like a little highlight of it. I always think about this guy when I think about like...
How do you think he feels now?
Well, he told me, like, I'm such a big No Tail fan. I was just like, that's pretty YOLO, dude. Are you sure you want to get the Fnatic logo? Because I just love No Tail so much. He's just such a great team. They've got so much personality.
I get that, but why don't you get a No Tail?
That's exactly what I was kind of thinking. And I you know...
You don't really want to put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Make him feel stupid,
But he, he went for it. And now it's like, well, the current Fnatic squad's slightly different in terms of branding and cultural identity. But I always just think of that, like when someone asks me about like the most hardcore Dota fan you've ever seen, like this guy and his mate, they're pretty high on my list.
I mean, he can become a CS:GO fan now. But.
Yeah, that's true. That's
that's your best move, I think, at this point.
There you go. But some serious YOLO shit. Oh, there you go. Another nice shot of Parker and myself. I think this is actually down there in where Velat was cast from at Summit 2. This is...
his pit.
The green screen?
This is when we set up the green screen back there. I don't know what we're casting. This has got to be like Summit 3 qualifiers, maybe?
Yeah, online stage.
Yeah, online stage stuff. It's nice happy smiles.
Parker wearing something that's not a tank top.
Yeah. And, okay, this is me and Hotbid doing my Hotbid interview at Summit 3. Smiles. That was actually my first Hotbid interview. Can you believe that shit?
Crazy.
I know, it's wild. Oh, here we go. In the studio. This was like in the studio 2.0.
Look at the new Everyone's got a nice button down, and he's just got his fucking t-shirt on, dude. He's just...
Yep. Slobbing it. One of the few times you get to see Brian on camera.
Yeah.
LD rocking the double pockets, channeling his inner Cinderin.
Yes, I was.
I actually don't wear that.
I think I was out of clean shirts at that point.
Like, you look at this set, and it actually, like, it looks cool and illuminated. I think I've got a picture of the old set on here somewhere. Oh, well, here's a picture of it. This is an early in the studio. A great one, Brian, with his, I declare, sir. God's going, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, my man.
Oh, the pedo stash.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Some people just are not meant to have facial
Just
hair.
look how different the set looks with this old printout that we had.
The printout did look really cool in concept, but...
It was way cooler on the computer.
We didn't have anything to straighten it up against, so it was not completely flat. So you could like see the wrinkles. And just wasn't. The other issue was it wasn't lit properly.
Yeah, lighting is.
That was
really
when we didn't know
hard.
anything about lighting.
Okay, and there's me talking to Zoe again. This is Summit 1. Look, it's fucking Steve, dude. It's Excalibur.
Oh yeah, you remember that game he had against DK, the Tinker game?
All right, dude. That was the only game that I adminned at the Summit 1, I think, and it was that game, and it was so intense. I remember like being really surprised and also being nervous that the neighbors might not be enjoying this as much as I am because No Tail was unbelievably loud that game. And every time Steve got a kill, he was like, Steve!
Well, there's that great clip after the event's over where, after the match is over, where like No Tail just jumps out of his chair and he like just starts like cuddling with Trixie. Like he jumps on his lap, he's like hugging him like they're like either a child and a mother, like a couple. It was just so
It's a
adorable.
good picture, you know, puppy just creeping on in here.
Scouting out Trixie.
I'm not sure who that is. I can't tell with this
That's
low
Ben.
res. Is that Ben? Oh, I
think
thought it
it's
was.
Ben.
I thought it was Charlie at first. Maybe
Who's
it's
the
Ben.
guy without any hair?
That right there.
That's Mason.
That's Mason.
Oh, that's Victor.
I think that's Victor.
Oh,
Yeah, that was our
that's
helper. I think that is that Zy back there. It's all Fnatic Fly. It's just a nice picture showing off that Summit one. There was a nice. I think this came from a time lapse we shot from that room actually. Oh, this is a great one. This is the Ice Bucket Challenge, ALS time.
Oh God, what is wrong with Parker's facial?
He
hair?
needs to stop.
This is a really low res picture, but yeah, as you can see, high production value. That was an adventure. That was kind of fun. That was a fun video.
God, Parker.
Parker. Those trash cans stayed out there for a good 6 months. We literally went outside, dumped the water, and went, okay, that was cool. Fuck it, YOLO, and then just went back inside and went
We
to
should
bed.
we should really report him to the municipality of Ontario.
For wasting water. We have this policy.
We're in a drought, Andrew.
Yeah, that's true. We have this policy where
You
if
dick.
you have something you don't know what to do with that isn't obvious trash, just throw it outside in our backyard. Like the suitcase that Parker had that one of the cats pissed on. That thing was out there for like a year, close to a year.
I wouldn't
been
call
there
it
for
a
years.
policy. It's more a practice that.
Okay, it's true. It's not it's an impromptu
Policy
policy.
makes it sound
What's
like.
wrong with you guys?
Like,
Okay, I never did this.
I never did this either.
The worst part was that Parker, he was the one who wanted the pool for the Summit 1. And we're like, okay, if we're going to get this, you're going to be in charge of it. And he just left it there. It was ruined. We had to buy a new one for the Summit 3.
we literally, like, I remember I went outside and drained it, and, like, we just kind of, there's drains out there, that's fine. And then literally the deflated pool just sat there until
Through,
the next
like,
summit.
storms and,
Yeah.
you know, like,
And we just
dust.
fucking threw it away, and then we bought a new one, and then we said, you know what, fuck the pool, no one's gonna use it, and then I think we tried to return it, but the packaging was too ruined, so we have an unopened pool sitting in the garage.
He calls them paddle pools, which is very bizarre, because how do you paddle in that thing? It's like, your butt's always hitting the ground. I don't know how that's supposed to work.
I don't know. That was fun though. The ice bucket challenge. We had a good time.
Man,
was
a lot of Dreads pictures.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got to remember the old times. Now, this was the first video I made from the BTS house. This was my like podcast. Like, hey guys, look.
Oh, this is when you announced that you had like moved out.
Basically, this was like, look guys, look. I hadn't even hung up my little Dota things yet. I just hung up the Dazzle. My bed's so well made. Oh man. Oh, this is. Do you remember this, Ben?
It's Red Bull.
Red Bull Battlegrounds. This was the what was the name of it? It was like the LAN part where it was like the Joes versus pros thing, where it's like the 100 people, it's like 10 pros and then 90.
Yeah, they just call like the LAN.
They had
The
two
LAN,
TVs
yeah.
above us?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. We didn't really see that side of it. That event was really fun. That's a really cool idea where you have pros mixed in with
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I like
with
that.
players and
The fans will really enjoy it.
they really do. That's like everyone at that event. I think literally everybody I talked to was just like, dude, this is really cool. I had a lot
The LAN
of fun.
center
today.
was pretty nice,
They were like,
too.
this is like the best $20 I've spent in a while, or however much it was. Yeah, that LAN center. It's in
San Jose?
yeah, it's in Silicon Valley, so you would expect the LAN cafes to be nice, but it was pretty good. Mott's like sitting right here doing the obs off to the
Obsing,
side.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Oh
it.
yeah, that's me in an alternate world. People just link that picture a lot. I always thought it was funny. There's me at Tia. I don't know.
Kiarina.
Or yeah, I don't. Why did I? Who is that? I don't even know. Oh yeah, baby. Now this is the good shit right here.
Ugh.
So this is Summit 2, as you can see by the background. So we've got Enchantress on the left, image that will forever be burned into your retinas. We've got Coddle Guy in the middle as the obvious Coddle, and then we've got Blaze cosplaying as the little Gurg. Oh, Alpine Ursa? Is that what it's supposed to be?
No, it's a Gurg cosplay.
Oh, I guess it kind of doubles as an Alpine Ursa, though. That's good. The Gurg cosplay.
There
That
you
shit
go.
cracked me up so much. So this was just one of those, like, never forget type things. I don't know. I saw this, and it made me giggle.
Everyone has evacuated.
You know what else made me laugh about, like, remembering this was the, like, I remember pulling up that morning, like, getting to the house, and I had, Ashley was with me, one of the cosplayers, and Gods was, like, dressed and sort of pretending like he knew how he was going to do his makeup. Obviously, he has no idea how to do, like, women's makeup. So after, like, a very minor effort, he's just like, hey, Ashley, you think you could help me do my makeup? And her face just went from, like, that dull morning, I haven't had my coffee yet, to, I would fucking love to. And she's just, I can tell, like, he's just sitting there, and she's just cheesing her ass off, and I'm just like, you have no idea what you just signed up for.
She's
dude.
going to go way over
She
the
went
top.
ham. If you look at, like, the high-res pictures of his face, he looks actually like a girl because a girl with a mustache, but like the makeup was intense.
Wait, did he not shave before this?
Oh, I don't know, but I mean, you can tell it's a dude, but the makeup job was pretty good. Oh, this is a good one. The added in bows. I always like this picture. I love that shirt, but it's just too gay.
So many memes from your hair.
What happened to what? Huh?
I don't remember.
Somebody. It's just a random. I mean, it's just some random Star Ladder day that you tried to forget, man. You know, and then that's it. That's all the pictures I pulled out. So, like I said, I probably could have found more, but I at least grabbed some.
Let's idle on
Yeah,
that.
let's just idle on this one.
Oh,
God, that is offensive.
That's
all right.
the worst one to idle on.
Yeah, please.
All right, here we go. We'll go back. Go back to the full camp. So
Can you turn that off?
that's pretty.
Yeah, we have to look
Now
at
we
it.
have to
Even
look
they
at
don't.
All right, there we go. Oh wait, I went back to the other overlay. No, guys, the production value. We're failing so hard here. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all I had on the docket. So that's it, man. That's like, now what do we do? Cry and hug and
Drink.
move on. Drink our sorrows away.
So you leave tomorrow.
I leave tomorrow.
What's your plan?
So I'm gonna stop off in Phoenix, see the DC crew. That's like a 5-hour drive-ish from here, so the first leg will be easy.
So Suns fan, Sajadine,
Yep.
the Kittens. They've got what, 3, 2?
At least 2 or 3. I've lost track. And then after that, it's just going to be the same kind of trek across, and I think I'm going to stop and see Toffees, and then he just moved to Indianapolis, so I'm going to see what's up there, and then hit Jersey, stay there for a little while. I have, it's always funny, like, when you post these announcements, and the people that just read the headline, but not the bottom part, like, the amount of messages I get from, like, even subs that are like, are you leaving Dota? I'm like, it says explicitly that I have no plans to leave Dota or esports, you know? But I'm going to go to Jersey for a little while. I have one of my older family members is a little sick, so I'm going to get a little family time in, you know, before you have those, fuck, why didn't I just go back to Jersey one more time kind of a moment, you know, that's always good. But I'm really excited. I've got a trip planned to Europe. I'm going to go do a little European holiday for the month of September. So it's going to be fun. It's going to work out pretty well. I hope. Fingers crossed. Going to go see some of my friends in Europe. Hopefully stream a little bit. Hit some LAN cafes, you know.
Have a couch to...
Yeah. You know, maybe visit some ladies. Maybe stop by the Good Studio. See what's going on in Sweden. The plan is to hit Amsterdam, Stockholm. Maybe a little Denmark. I know Cinderin's a busy guy, but
Cinderella.
I heard he just moved and he's looking for friends. So I was going to come try and help him out.
Temporary friend.
You know. You just gotta. He's living with his girlfriend now, and she was very excited. She's like, "Oh, I haven't explored the city yet. I'm gonna plan activities." It's like, "Oh yes, all right." So should be fun. And then after that, who knows? Hopefully there'll be more Dota and shit going on. You know,
To be determined.
TBD. You know, working on some stuff, but still working. So it's an exciting time for Dota. I feel like not even just me, but I feel every studio or like content producer or caster, everyone's working on something right now. It's like that period where everyone's trying to get their ducks in a row for the next season. Everyone's waiting for the teams to be settled so the tournaments can start, you know, like building their stuff. Like we're on the crack of a new dawn. The dawn of a new age. Huh?
The crack of a new dawn.
The crack of a new dawn.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting with the majors. I think that's what we're all just waiting to hear. Like, what are the dates? Where's the location?
Yeah.
Where can I buy tickets? You know, like, who's going to be playing? Who's got to qualify?
Yeah.
Like, the teams especially, I'm sure.
There's still just, like, so much info that needs to...
And with the way the teams are shuffling, and, like, you look at this TI, and most of the direct invites did not perform well. I'd say most of them performed far below, like, where they had to have been ranked in Valve's eyes to get the direct invites. Mm-hmm. So going to the next TI, like, you really have to reevaluate how many teams you're directly inviting. Yeah. I absolutely think you have to have more qualifier spots, especially because a lot of these teams are reshuffling, even the teams that did decently. Like, sure, like, obviously EG is an obvious direct invite, but, like, can you really justify inviting 10, 12 teams?
Yeah, especially post-shuffle, it's really tricky. And it's always scary. You can't really look at the results of the individual players when they form a new team, because as we've seen time and time again, that 5 All-Stars is not the recipe for a winning team.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at the biggest, like, All-Star rosters. Probably Secret this year, IG this year, especially for the Chinese fans, and then DK last year. Like, DK wasn't a flop; they finished 4th, but they still performed below expectations, which was top 3. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there were so many underdog stories. CDAC, eHome, both wildcard teams, both of them finishing, what was it, top 4, I believe, or top 6. Then you have like LGD, probably the only team that was a favorite coming in, along with EG. Those are the two like big name teams that actually live up to expectations more or less. But then you've got your MVP Phoenixes, your who else was there that I'm forgetting? Complexity, another big underdog story. So I really hope that there are less invites and more qualifiers, and I hope that. I mean, the ideal world is that you have LAN qualifiers, but I don't know if that's going to be feasible.
Well, if there's one thing this TI did for sure was hype up NA Dota. With Complexity getting, they were what, top 8? Top 6?
Top 8.
Top 8? Yeah. And EG winning it, I mean, it was a pretty damn good tournament for NA Dota.
Was Complexity top 8?
I think they were.
I think they were at least top 8, almost for sure.
Because they won their...
I don't think
Or were they
so.
top 12?
They were top 12.
Oh, was it top 12?
Did they lose both matches?
Because eHome and Secret were 7 and 8. Or, sorry, eHome.
Yeah, who'd they play?
Secret and MVP.
Who they played EG first round, they lost, and then
they lost versus VP.
Yeah, you're right. So they did finish top 12 then.
Okay, top 12.
Still far more than
either. Yeah, I mean, even the final finishes are less important than like some of the surprise wins that they had, like in the group stage, all that stuff. Like a lot of the 2-0s that even if they went 1-1, people have been like, oh, that's pretty good for Complexity, and they like. You know, showing that they can play techies, all that. It was a very good tournament for just North American Dota in general. You know, and
chat wants shots.
Chat wants shots. Oh God.
They're vicariously, imbibing through us.
Yeah,
that's some next level shit.
Yeah, one thing I do think that I could have written better in my blog about announcing leaving was at the end. It's like there's a lot of changes coming with the implementation of majors, and I think a lot of people interpreted that as like, oh, I'm going to get invited to every major, so I don't need BTS anymore, and that's absolutely the opposite of what I meant. Like, I don't think anyone is a shoo-in for all majors, first of all, in terms of talent, except for a very select few people, because there's just not enough stuff to cast. Like, there's too many talented people relative to how long the format will be for majors if they're shorter than TI, right? Yeah. You would imagine it'll be shorter than TI, so stands to reason it'll probably be less talent. Who knows if they'll rotate or how it's going to work, but that was more a statement to indicate that the scene in general is going to change a lot.
It's in a huge state of flux, and what's probably going to happen is like whatever Valve does for the fall major, they're going to change it for the winter one, and they'll probably change it again for the spring one because I mean I think they'll like you look at TI, like TI2, pretty damn good event, but TI3 was just so much more polished and well produced. That's when they brought in Casey for the first time. They had like a constant like flow of content that wasn't just the panel talking for like an hour and a half. Yeah. Then Key Arena, same thing. TI4, like sure the finals were not great. There were some great matches during the event, but like the stories were just not told, especially about the Chinese players, and especially in this TI they stepped it up so much. Like obviously the stage was a huge improvement. So we'll see the same thing with the majors, I think. Yeah. There was a lot more video content though, and it's like like I mentioned in that blog post, I was really like one of my most proud things that we did was that Summit 3 Chinese cast, and like part of it was the fact that we did it kind of knowing that there would be backlash and there would be a lot of people that would react like, why don't we just have a normal good cast for this? Because it was the not the grand final, it was the lower bracket finals. I think it was like one game of the lower bracket finals. So it was maybe not the best game to do it, but it was just like one of those times where, remember we were having the discussion and I was thinking in my head, I really think this is a good idea. I think it's absolutely worth it to try it and just deal with the polarizing feedback. And the group was kind of like 50-50, and we decided to do it. And I just am so glad that we chose to do it because I think that was just a really fucking cool thing to do. Well, and it's something like which we wanted to do it earlier actually, but the players are like the players do not want to cast until they're eliminated basically. And if they do cast, it's like after their day's over. And then IG had a really disappointing summit. They had a bunch of disappointing results coming in, and they were also the team that got voted in through the redemption vote. So like. They didn't want to do anything, but I think Josh talked to Chuan and was like, listen, like, you guys got voted in. Like, you should really try to do something here for your fans. So, I mean, it wasn't, like, perfect. I think it could have been improved a lot, but I just hope we get to do it in the future. Like, I just think conceptually, and at least it's, like, one of those things where I look at it as it kind of starts that dialogue. It turns people's brain onto the idea of, oh, shit, maybe we could, like, if someone comes up with a more polished version of that, or you have a more polished version of that at Summit 4 or something, I think it's just only good to humanize players from other cultures for the West. Like, I think it just adds value to the scene. The Summit really has loosened up a lot of the Chinese players, I would say. Like, you look at, like, what we did with the media day, like, very similar thing happens at TI where they had, like, the masks and just they're kind of clowning around. Like, the players had a lot of fun with that, and I think that's something that the event has kind of added to, even to, like, a more serious event like TI. Like, sure, that's not going to be, like, what they show on the main stage, but they'll blog it out, they'll tweet the pictures, Instagram it, and just show this other side. Like, these are yes, they're not robots. They're
Yeah.
real people who have fun.
Yeah.
And can laugh once in a while. You know,
Yeah.
maybe they don't smile as much in the booth as you would like. But.
Yeah, it was cool. But there's a lot to look forward to right now. Dota's changing, hopefully for the better, majors and all sorts of... I mean, the other thing is, like, with TI just continuing to grow, there are a lot of sponsors that are looking at Dota like, hey, maybe we should get in on this Dota thing.
Yeah, Valve had sponsors this year.
Yeah, like, the numbers are getting to the point where it's hard to not sell it to somebody. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people there. There comes a point where something like the Summit doesn't totally sell itself, but it gets a little easier once you have that, like, track record of these awesome numbers and these awesome events and all these pictures of people smiling and all these impressions. It's like, this is just a cool, positive thing. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of it, you know? Esports, man. It's fucking happening. Dreams are being realized, Merlini. Come on, man.
He's never been one for that.
I know. He's never been. So,
he's not a hyper.
All right, Ben. Well, that's it. That's the end of this podcast. We're probably never going to podcast again unless I talk you into it and twist your arm.
I hope we cast again.
I hope so too, man.
It's been fun.
It's been...
Our style ladder games were actually kind of fun because they were shit, and usually you're just like, oh god.
And you just get the flamethrower out and.
Andrew and I just like whatever. These teams are.
We had some really fun casts.
It's worth just like. I don't know.
I actually had a very similar experience casting with you as I did to Winter, where the first few times I had to cast you remotely, I was just like, this guy does not like me at all.
I remember he's like, it was like 5 minutes before the game's like, so do you want to chat about these teams? I was like, no, just let me know when the game starts.
Yeah. I remember Andrew talked to me. He was like worried and upset. He's like, what do I need to be doing differently here? Like, what's
this guy really does not seem to like me.
Why doesn't Merlini like me? I'm like, dude, just relax.
Well, because like, you know,
It's
most
just how
people
Ben is.
when they say like, you know, hey, you know, we're gonna be casting, they'll like introduce themselves on Skype or talk about the styles. Ben, one word replies like, okay, no, I don't want to start early. Okay, just call me when the draft's halfway done, and then we'll start.
He's not much of a Skyper.
Okay.
I hate Skype in general.
I guess we'll do that. So I was just weirded out by the whole thing, and then I met him, and I was like, okay, cool. He's a normal guy, and it's like...
He's loosened up a little.
It was similar with Winter, though. Like, Winter's got a very unique, like, personality, and he really, like, works differently depending on who he's casting with. Like, he'll be more reserved at first until he's comfortable with you, so I just didn't know how to, like, trade off play-by-play with him, and it just felt awkward. And then once I had a cast with him in real life, then I was like, okay, I've unlocked the key to Winter. I understand how to, like, kind of make fun with him.
I think my first breakthrough with him was when we were casting LGD. And, like, this was when the old LGD, and, like, this was before TI3, so they were super safe about everything. Like, they'd always go Dire, they'd always pick late game. Yao would always be on Magnus, like, they'd have a melee carry, like, big team fight, like, so... The running like line on them was like lose all the lanes, win the game anyway. So at one point, like they're winning and slowly coming back, and I just say safety first, like a condo. He just starts cracking. And this was where Winter was a huge advocate of pipe, and like no teams were buying it, so we became known as Condiment Pipe. That was our tagline. After that, we had a lot more fun when we cast together.
I like pipe too. We
Yeah.
always talk about it. Why don't they
It's
get a
true.
pipe?
Why aren't they buying pipe?
But obviously the players know something we don't, because like they never buy.
We did talk about during that Starlight run. There were a lot of games where like,
Pipe
this is a fucking pipe game right here. Come on, please. And they never bought it. The Winter made a joke like that at Major All Stars, where it was when there was a Zeus, and he has that line when he ults or when he kills somebody with his ult that you can't run from the heavens. And it was really loud in the venue, the way they had the sound tweak. So I was just like, well, Winter, sometimes you just can't run from the heavens. He just goes, yeah, we're all sinners. And literally... So I just, like, take a pause where I'm just like, that was a pretty good one, Winter. The best part there is just literally one guy in the audience stands up right away. He's just like, boo! Boo! Because, of course, it's, like, majority Muslim country. He doesn't like the Christian jokes. It's just like, he's like, stands up.
It's a big deal in Malaysia.
Goes to start a rally, and I turn around, and the guy literally does the, like, oh shit, I'm alone. Never mind. All right. And he just sits back down. It's like one guy that started a riot, and I was like, fuck, all right.
It's the one-man spam of real life,
Yeah. It was when the guy freaked out afterwards, Winter was kind of like, I don't know if that was the best joke to make. It was pretty well timed, though. It was pretty clever. He's definitely got that sense of humor, man. Oh, man. All right, well, that's it. So is that it? Do we just hug and turn off the stream? Do we do a Slacks thing and just start punching each other and then just leave it here and just let the stream run, like, with the camera sideways? We should have done like a fake Blair Witch ending.
We could gurg out.
Do we start gurging now?
Lie down on the couch with our belly.
Oh,
that gurg.
I was gonna say, what kind of? Gurg has become too ambiguous of a. He's Gurgin. What is he
I
actually
think
doing?
the worst, like when I'm like, this has gone too far moment happened for me at this TI.
Oh, God.
When Gurg was getting his game on with a lady friend, and someone asks him, "Did you Gurg her?"
I was just like, dude, did he Gurger?
This cannot become like a verb for everything. Like there's some things that should not be Gurgable.
Oh my fucking God!
Greg's here now as well.
Oh fucking!
I heard you're out of
Jesus.
control again, Greg.
Oh God.
I bet he's Gurgin right now. He's just sitting at his computer, just cackling to himself, drooling on his shirt, just like there's a melted puddle of ice cream next to him because he's laughing so maniacally he can't finish it in time.
Some things just shouldn't be Gurgable.
Oh, Gurgy. Good old Gurgy. Gurg just has this very unique flavor that he brings to the scene. It's this mix of like incessant negativity that is somewhat infectious and at times needed, but often overbearing. You know, sometimes you need that dose of negativity in your life.
That was a good way to put it.
I don't know if you need. Do you need that?
Well, sometimes every so often, Gurg's Gurging about something, and I go, you know, you're kind of right about this. It's not very often.
Yeah, that I would agree.
But sometimes it's really healthy to get Gurgin. You know, just let it all out. Just fucking go ham. Sometimes you gotta go ham. But
So you're saying we need Gurg.
so you're telling me we need the Gurg? You know, somebody asked him at TI5, just like, does anybody at work call you Greg? He's just like, no, it's all either Gurg or Gurgles. Literally, that's like his name in the office. Gurgles. It's transcended from like a Twitch meme to like a real life. Like Greg's every day is, oh hey Gurg, what's up? Oh Gurgles, you have a good weekend? It's like, well, Greg, you know what? You deserve that, you fucking bastard.
I wonder if he introduces himself to girls as Gurg.
Hey baby, I'm Gurg.
Hey, you ever Gurged?
You ever Gurg live?
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, and with that, I think we're done. So thank you for joining us, folks. That's it. I'm hitting the road tomorrow, and then I'm going to go to Europe. There's going to be a lot of podcasts with random people and a lot of Instagramming. Guys, this was fun. Thank you. I know you're busy. Thank you for Gurging.
Not
with
too
me on the
busy
couch.
for you, buddy.
Oh, that's nice.
We'll hug. We'll
Gurg.
drink.
Let's Gurg. All right, we're going to
We'll
Gurg later. So that's it, guys. We're going to play Monster Cat because that's how we roll. So
It started with Monster Cat, and with Monster Cat, it shall end.
exactly. All right, wait. Oh, I needed a mouse pad here. Let's get right into. Oh, God,
For
yes.
having us, Andrew.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Good night.